interview with Putin, which is just going to cause meltdowns across liberal circles, of course. You know, they're always having meltdowns because they're not in control. But I want to hear your thoughts on that because I think that would be absolutely amazing. Here we go. Yes. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show. That's right, The Steve Kane Show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio. It is Tuesday, August 29th. The big announcement coming out of Mother Russia this morning. And, Russia, this is absolutely amazing what's going on right now. It looks as if Tucker Carlson very well may be interviewing Vladimir Putin. And that is, I think, exciting, very much an amazing thing. Now, Tucker's interview last week with the greatest president ever, Donald Trump, as of right now, just on Tucker's Twitter, is at 262 million views. And that doesn't include, of course, all the other places that are carrying that interview. 262 million is the official number for the Trump interview by Tucker Carlson, even though it's well over 300. But we'll stick with that because that's what's on his Twitter feed. If Tucker Carlson sits down and interviews Putin, will more people watch that interview than watch the Trump interview? What do you guys think? Now, we're involved in really what is a forever war in Ukraine. I've not coined that term to describe this Ukraine business, but others have. But it is a forever war, and we know what it's about. It's so Joe Biden and all these people in Washington can steal money from the Ukraine funding. We know what's going on. Here they are doing all these corrupt crimes, and terrible things are happening. A lot of people are dying in this war. I'm hoping that Tucker does interview Putin. And this came out of Russian state television. Tucker was over in Hungary giving a speech, and the head of the Russian news agency said, and this is being reported everywhere, that Tucker Carlson is trying to get an interview with Putin. And this would cause meltdowns in this country like you would never seen before from the left-wing media. In fact, Tucker Carlson could find himself in a lot of hot water in this country doing a Putin interview. Listen, they arrested President Trump. He's going to be arraigned. What is it, September 8th? He's going to be arraigned in Fulton County. Okay, so if they arrest presidents and the president's attorneys, Tucker Carlson could find himself in big trouble with this Putin interview because it's interrupting the forever war gravy train con that the Washington elite, led by Barack Obama and Pops Joe Biden, have running. And one of the most disgusting things about the forever war in Ukraine that the media and our leaders in Washington, as they're promoting this war, have not done is there have not been any peace negotiations whatsoever. In fact, Biden has said that he wouldn't even talk to Putin. You know, when you're involved in a shadow war with a nuclear power, you want to have peace talks. You want to cool things off and end it. But if they end the war, well, the money stops. Right? And they don't want the money to stop. I personally do not believe Russia is America's enemy. I think the whole Cold War was a bunch of nonsense too. Russia always has been, certainly during the Soviet era, was a third world country. The reason that there was an Iron Curtain, Churchill started that term, it's a pretty good one, huh? The reason why we never saw inside of Russia is because the Soviet Union were keeping it a secret that they were a third world country. And I grew up during all that Cold War nonsense, and I know a lot of you guys did too, the day after, Threads, all these things, and Red Dawn. We just assumed that there was going to be World War III with the Soviet Union at some point. It was all lies, just like the war in Ukraine, all right? for the military-industrial complex. And Tucker Carlson sitting down and interviewing Putin, asking the tough, and Tucker Carlson, like me, is opposed to the forever war in Ukraine. All right? So for him to sit down one-on-one with Putin, that could very well turn the tide of these uninformed, low-information Democrats walking around with their Ukrainian flags on their clothes and their Ukrainian flag bumper stickers, virtue signaling about this. All the peaceniks are now warmongers. But it could turn the tide in this country of public opinion against this war. So I hope and pray that Tucker Carlson gets the sit-down interview with Putin, because I want this war to stop. I want Biden to be exposed. You know, if this government, led by Joe Biden and Barack Obama, will not sit down and talk, or they will not have peace negotiations with Putin, do you think they want Tucker to interview him? Now, Tucker, who had his interview with Donald Trump, is the most viewed one-on-one interview in the history of the planet, to my knowledge. So I want to ask you a few questions about this. One, do you think a Putin interview would have more viewers than a Trump interview? I think it probably would, because this is a kind of an interview we've not seen. We haven't seen a real interview with Putin with an American journalist since this forever proxy war in Ukraine began. So and it's a worldwide event. So it very well could beat the Trump interview by a lot. Honestly, I think it could. That's one question I want to ask you. Another question is this: is Tucker Carlson in dangerous territory here? Now remember, they've arrested President Trump 4 times on September 8th. I'm pretty sure it's September 8th. He's going to be arraigned in a courtroom, okay, in Fulton County with the daughter of the Black Panthers, Fannie Willis. So you see what they do to political opposition in this country. We have political prisoners in this country at the highest levels. So is Tucker Carlson in danger in this country? Could he get locked up for colluding with the enemy or something? Here's a third question I want to ask you guys. Do you think Tucker's already done the interview with Putin and this is just being floated around? So there's a lot of questions here, and I hope it happens. I want it to happen. It could get us out of this war. And I'll tell you, Zelensky sure doesn't want this to happen. They don't want to humanize Putin. They want to villainize Putin. So I want to take your calls on this. If you're on hold, stand by. Our number is toll free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. Also, do you think it's possible that a Putin interview with Tucker would surpass the number of views of the Trump interview, which is the world record holder of all history for the most watched interview? I think, yeah. Because we've seen, you know, people have seen a lot of interviews with Trump, and he does the rallies. Putin, first off, we'd have all the Russians watching the Putin interview too, and there's a lot of Russians and a lot of Eastern Europeans. So a lot of people would watch it that would not be interested in a Trump interview. So I want to hear your thoughts on all of this. It's Tuesday morning. We'll take our first break and be right back. If I'm working in there?
Yeah, the TV was saying this whole internet.
Oh.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Hi, it's Katie from Will Floor You. I am so excited to let you in on some exciting news. Our Jupiter store has moved to a new location that's double the size. Come in and see us on the corner of Ultra A1A and Indiantown Road next to Publix. Mention this ad and receive a free gift. We strive to make buying new flooring for your home friendly, fresh, and convenient. We offer lots of options from America's top brands and always have the best price. From one local to another, Will Floor You is your hometown flooring store that has it all. Will Floor You Jupiter store and Will Floor, the letter U,
Now listen, guys, those of you that are members, I've made a members-only video I posted this morning right before I went on the air. Go and watch that video. I asked some questions that I'd like your answers to. Let me know the answers to those questions in the comments of the video. And remember, we got some new emojis for the members too, including the Trump mugshot emoji. And of course, if you guys want to support the channel, a great way to do that is to become a member, and then you get access to all that exclusive member content, including the video. I'm going to be doing more videos for the members, not just the one today. But I'd very much like to hear your thoughts on this Putin interview. I think this Putin interview is very important and would be absolutely amazing. Because I want us to get out of this forever war that we are in Ukraine, don't you? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Still not working?
Makes the whole online process fast and easy. And look at these rates and coverage options. It's great protection and totally fits our budget.
Ethos. They've removed all the barriers from getting coverage. Go to checkethos.com to get your free online quote. That's checkethos.com.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet. Muscle weakness, loss of balance.
Mike's having problems with his computer in the control room. That's what he's working on here.
Your neuropathy symptoms, call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642.
All right.
Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, welcome. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Call us on hold. Stand by if you're just tuning in. It looks as if Tucker Carlson will be interviewing Vladimir Putin, which I cannot wait. We need to end this forever war in Ukraine, and this could be the beginning of that. All right, now before we do, though, we've got a pretty bad hurricane coming to Florida. Now, while it's not coming to the part of Florida that I live in, thankfully so, unfortunately, it's hitting another part of Florida, the Gulf Coast, that got hit last year. I'm going to give you Tom Laporta's number at Laporta Contracting. You know, Tom Laporta and Laporta Contracting cover the entire state of Florida, including all up the west coast of Florida. All right? So if you're on the west coast of Florida or know someone who is, if they have storm damage, you want to call Tom Laporta immediately. Remember, this number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone. So in case you lose power or internet, write this number down and put it on your refrigerator. This one's going to be a bad one, guys. They're talking about Category 3 or 4 hurricane. That is really bad. You know, Hurricane Andrew, all those years ago, wasn't even close to that. That was like a 1, okay? And when you have a Category 3 or 4, we now have an official hurricane as of 5 a.m., okay, at 75-mile-an-hour sustained winds. But when you have a Category 3 or 4, while it's not the worst, a Category 5, you still get Category 5 hurricane wind gust. The category of the hurricanes are assigned based on the sustained winds. So this is a bad one, guys. In fact, one of the worst hurricanes it's looking right now. It's hard to watch. I've been following it the last day, and it is a rough one. So here's Tom Laporta's number. Again, this number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602, and online, LaportaContracting.com. All right, I'm going to go right to the phones, and here early on, I want to focus in on, I got a lot to cover today, okay? A lot more than just this. I got a lot of things to cover on the program this morning. But I first want to hear your thoughts on Tucker Carlson interviewing Putin. I think it's a great thing. It's a beautiful thing, and it could save who knows how many lives, and perhaps even stop the Third World War. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Barbara from Hawaii.
Hey, Hawaii. How you doing?
Just fine, thank you. If that is true, I would absolutely love it. That is the best.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. And then maybe our politicians are going to be reminded of the agreement that the West and Russia had in 1990. Gorbachev made this freedom agreement that Germany is basically the closest country where NATO is going to be and not going to come any closer. And that's why they gave up the eastern part of Germany.
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I'm of the opinion that this interview that he's doing, the media and the government in the United States do not want this interview with Tucker and Putin to happen. It may have already been done. We don't know. He was over in Hungary, Tucker. I don't know if he's still over in Eastern Europe. But if Putin says, I want peace, I want a summit with Zelensky and Biden, and let's end this war, boy, that's going to put, which he could very easily say, Putin, that's going to put this corrupt, senile old coot, Joe Biden, in a tough spot.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And you know what? Except for lately, I have heard JFK talk about it, and I have heard Ramaswamy talk about this. But our politicians, they are old, basically. They have been around at that time. They should know about it. And they just, either they're dumb or they're just ignoring it.
Well, they're corrupt. They want the money. Everybody in Washington is stealing money from the Ukraine funding. So they don't want the war to stop because they're getting rich off of it.
Because according to the agreement we have no business being even involved in the Ukraine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. This is this is like a civil war situation to me.
Yeah, but...
well, listen, I know Biden cares more about Ukraine than he does Hawaii. We've seen that lately. But thanks for your call, and I'm glad you're doing okay out there.
Okay, thank you.
All right, a call from Hawaii. Oh, man. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
This is a big interview. If you speculated on what might Putin say, and if Putin says what you say he could say about he wants to come to the table and negotiate a peace deal, that could give the the U.S. House of Representatives, the impetus to say no more Ukraine funding.
That's right. If Putin gets on this interview with Tucker, which again, this Tucker interview may have already happened. We don't know. But if Putin in a Tucker Carlson interview says, I want to have a peace summit with Zelensky and Biden, and I want to have it immediately because I want to end this war, I don't think Biden would allow it to happen. I don't think they would allow peace talks.
I don't think so either, and that's the thing. And there are other questions there are certain questions that need to be asked of Putin. Remember what she said? Remember what Hillary said in 2016? She accused Putin of interfering for Donald.
Yeah, that's their big thing. If Tucker Carlson interviews Putin, he could be arrested when he gets back to this country. I mean, they're arresting Trump's attorneys, so why wouldn't they arrest him? They could.
Dude, Tucker is a newsmaker. He's a true reporter. He's the guy. Remember, he's the guy that got the QAnon shaman.
That's right. He did. And that was just with one night of coverage on January 6th. All right, Mike, take care. Thanks for the call. Our number's toll free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. It's Roz.
Hey, Roz.
I do not think that interview can top President Trump. President Trump is like #1 in our world right now.
Well, yeah, but a one-on-one interview with Putin, his first major interview with an American journalist, that would be viewed in places where they wouldn't watch a Trump interview, like Russia.
About a month ago that Putin saw the stuff that they were doing to Trump, and he banned Rachel Maddow and all these skunks from entering Russia.
Wow. Maybe they should be banned from entering Florida. I like that, too.
Yeah, I think, you know what, it's possible that Putin could possibly help President Trump.
Do you think that if Tucker sits down and does a one-on-one interview with Vladimir Putin, do you think he's in danger of being put in jail when he returned to the United States?
I think he's got better chances of not being in Russia.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm thinking, you know, because now they're starting with Elon Musk now, with sending the DOJ over there. And Tucker is, you know, doing this platform on Twitter. So.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. They might fine or try to hurt Elon.
Yeah. Well, Elon Musk, they're going after Elon Musk because he'll only hire U.S. citizens at SpaceX. Well, that's the law. You can't give I've heard Elon Musk talk about this. You cannot give security clearances to non-U.S. citizens. He's required to hire Americans, as it should be. Hey, Roz, I got to run for a break, but thanks for the call. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to hear all of your thoughts on Tucker Carlson's interview with Vladimir Putin, which I think would be one of the most important interviews ever done, period. Because we could stop the Third World War with that interview. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Callers on hold. Stand by. Back right after this.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show.
Now listen, guys. Don't forget, go to mypillow.com, use my promo code Kane at checkout, and take advantage of all the deals there. Now remember, you can take advantage of all the specials at mypillow.com with my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. I just want to go over a couple right now. The MyPillow 2.0 with cooling technology is buy one, get one free. This is the pillow I sleep on. It has the same patented fill inside as the original MyPillow, but the cover is made out of this cooling material that keeps your head, your face, your neck cool all night long. You'll never flip the pillow over again looking for the cool side. And it's buy one, get one free with the promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. There's also a section that says State Fair specials, $5 specials going on at mypillow.com. But yeah, that's true, $5 specials going on at mypillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. When you go to mypillow.com, you can see that. So when we get back from the break, I'm going to go back to the phones, and I'm going to continue for a while before I get into some other issues on the Tucker interview with Putin. But what do you guys think in the chat room? Yes or no, will more people watch the Tucker interview with Putin than watch the Tucker interview with Trump? Yes or no? Let me know on that. I think it's very possible because there's people in other countries that will watch it that wouldn't watch the Trump interview, like in Russia. Even? Yeah, little split there. More yeses than no's, but there are some no's. I'm not asking if it'll be better. I'm asking if more people, do you think, will watch it? Because it'll have a more global appeal to it. Mm-hmm. They could arrest Tucker. You know, they could really arrest Tucker Carlson for interviewing Putin. I would not put it past these people. Would you? No way. These are really bad people. Really bad people that are running this country right now. I mean, my goodness, look, they've arrested President Trump 4 times. Why wouldn't they arrest Tucker? But it's this interview, let's pray it happens because it could end this war. Mm-hmm. What they would do is they would accuse Tucker of getting involved with hostile foreign leaders, and they could declare that's a crime. I can't remember what they call that, because I remember after 9/11, before ground operations began in Afghanistan, Jesse Jackson was going to go to Afghanistan after 9/11, and he announced this, and negotiate with the Taliban for them to hand over bin Laden. And the George W. Bush administration said that would be a crime, and I can't remember what the crime was, but they had a specific name for it. Maybe somebody in the chat can remember. I don't have to give them the idea. Believe me. They want to arrest all people. They already want to arrest Tucker. Right? The interview could have happened already. Although I don't think it probably has not happened yet, but it could have. Mm-hmm. The Logan Act? Maybe. Maybe it is. That's possible, the Logan Act. It's something act. That could be it. Oh, yeah. But after Putin, who could he interview? I mean, look who he's interviewed. He's gone up, Trump, then Putin, and then what? You know? Who could he interview after that? Go on the road with Oliver Anthony? I don't know. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, but this is an interview they don't want to happen. It's okay to go interview bin Laden. They give Pulitzers for that. Hey, Carol. But interview Putin, and that they consider that a crime. We're not dealing with rational people here. I mean, they've arrested President Trump 4 times, so. Dennis Rodman is like an ambassador at large for Trump. He set up that whole summit with Kim Jong-un. That's amazing. The truth of that will come out one day. Rodman was on The Apprentice. He's friends with Trump. Maybe it's not the Logan Act. There's a special act that stops people from talking with foreign leaders in conflict. I can't remember what it is. All right, callers on hold, stand by. If you're just tuning in, just let me do a quick recap, then I'll go back to the phones at 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. It was announced through the head of Russian state television that Tucker Carlson is working to set up an interview one-on-one with Vladimir Putin. And, you know, he's been over there in Hungary. I'm not sure if he's still in Eastern Europe or not, Tucker, but hey, they have planes. They could still go back. And I'm hoping that this interview with Tucker and Putin happens. I think it's an important interview. It could get a summit meeting going and could end the forever war and scam that our government's running in Ukraine. Let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, it's Mary Ann from Oswego, New York.
Hey, Mary Ann, what's up?
Hi. I think you're right about this Tucker thing. I think he already did it. He wouldn't go over there if he, then go back. I don't think he would. But there's something going on, too, because if you remember in the Obama administration, Obama made a comment over a microphone. to one of Putin's.
It was to the guy that was running Russia unofficially, the Putin puppet. He said, tell Vlad that we'll talk after the election. I'll have more flexibility after I'm reelected.
That's right. I would love Tucker to ask what that was about, because there's something weird about this Ukraine war, because the Ukrainians are getting clobbered, and we're not hearing everything. It's very odd. I think the money that we're giving to Ukraine is being kicked back right into politicians' pockets.
Yeah, Zelensky, Biden, everybody in Washington. So what would happen? Do you think that the Biden regime could quite possibly jail Tucker Carlson after he interviews Putin?
No doubt, no doubt. These people, they punish them. I mean, look what they're doing to the president.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just punishing. They're evil. I mean,
well, if Putin tells Tucker, I want peace, I want to end the war, I would like to have a summit meeting and peace talks with Zelensky and Joe Biden, boy, that puts them in a position. What are they going to say? We're not going to have peace talks? How would they? I don't think the American people would accept that. Even these virtue signalers with their Ukrainian flags on their shirts and the Ukrainian flag bumper stickers on their cars would say, hey, wait a minute, we should have peace talks, right?
That's right, but I don't think they will. I think they want this war to go on. It's more money in their pockets, and they're trying to vilify Putin. They've been doing it for years. Well, but when they're in office, like Obama and Hillary, they wanted to reset relations, and remember what they accuse you of, they're doing.
Exactly. Well, I'm hoping this Tucker interview with Putin happens, and that we see. Now, let me ask you: do you think, because this is a global thing and a big deal, not a lot of interviews like this, do you think Tucker's interview with Putin would have more viewers than the over 260 million that have watched his interview with Trump?
I think it would be pretty close, because what you said before, you've got countries all over the world interested in this, interview. I mean,
yeah.
we don't hear what Germany is saying about the war or France is saying about the war. It's like it's not reported. So we don't know what's going on here, if they're all...
Exactly.
I mean, usually when there's a war like the Iraq war, Afghan war, we don't hear anything.
And by the way, what is the exit strategy from this forever war in Ukraine? At what point will we say, okay, it's over? I haven't even heard a strategy. All I've heard is send money, make sure that Pops gets 10%, and that's all I'm hearing.
Well, the only strategy out of the war is Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm. That's right. All right. Well, I appreciate the call. Good to hear from you. All right. Our number, 1-888-GO-KANE1. She said our only strategy out of the war is Donald Trump, and she is right about that. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. Once. Twice. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's Ben from Pompano.
Hey, Ben.
So that last caller, yeah, she was right on the money. I would say what Tucker is doing is the essence of journalism. There's going to be so much freak out over it on the left, but this is something some lefty would have done in the 70s, and it would have gotten every award.
How many times did these lefties go interview Bin Laden, Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein, and all that?
I know. And so this is actually fearless, hard-hitting,
Let me ask you, do you think that Tucker could be arrested on his return to the United States after a Putin interview?
If anyone listening thinks that wouldn't happen or isn't a real possibility, then they haven't been paying attention for the last year. Absolutely. They're arresting. This is like that scene in Star Wars where they take down all the Jedi all at once. It's they're arresting.
That was Order 66.
Yeah, Order 66. They're arresting everyone all at once. They're going after Elon. They're going after the co-defendants, Jenna Ellis and gang, Rudy Giuliani, all at once. Why would they stop at Tucker? Anyone who would doubt that is utterly.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Now listen, you're in Pompano. How close are you to where that police helicopter crashed yesterday?
Oh man, that was crazy. I was working in downtown Fort Lauderdale, but let me tell you, I avoided that whole area.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
People are talking about it. I was at Wawa this morning getting breakfast for work, and even the attendants there were talking to customers about it. Yeah.
I saw the hole in the ground. My goodness, it must have been fully fueled, that copter. All right, thanks for the call, Ben from Pompano. Yeah, there was a police helicopter crash there yesterday. You may have seen it in the news. All right, so if you're just tuning in, Russian state television announced that Tucker Carlson is he's requested and he's trying to broker a one-on-one interview with Vladimir Putin. That's what we're talking about right now. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie.
Hey, Richie.
I'm going to get logical about this.
Oh, okay. We weren't before?
You were. They're arresting President Trump because he's a threat to democracy, and they want him not to run anymore, so they're going to arrest him. They'll do anything they can. He's a threat to democracy. MAGA is a threat to democracy. Tucker will be labeled as somebody carrying water for Putin, and they will villainize him. And during the Vietnam War, the media were 100% against the war, so we got out of that war. Now they're all in. They're all in with the Democrats.
So what do you think? Could Tucker be arrested for such an interview?
Absolutely, because he's a threat to democracy. If you disagree with this regime, you're a threat to democracy. We have been taken over by communists, and I've been saying.
See, listen. I mean, if I even during the war in Vietnam, there were endless peace talks in Paris going on. I mean, for there not to be peace talks between the United States, Ukraine, and Russia is a war crime done by us. And if Putin calls for a immediate ceasefire and peace talks, oh boy, that's going to set off the military-industrial complex.
You know what Zelensky will say when he gives us back Crimea. This is all, and so the bottom line, this is not going to end the war. We're going to see more of corruption because Tucker's going to expose it. But the bottom line is this: it took an Indian reporter to report in the White House what's going on with Trump. With this collusion with Mar-a-Lago and every other thing. So our own press is 100% communist.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
Well, they go along with the.
This. Let me tell you, his interview with President Trump is the most viewed interview in the history of journalism. But I think the Putin interview would have more viewers because there's by far.
And it'll infuriate the hell out of the right. It'll infuriate us. And the truth of the matter is, it'll energize the damn left because they'll make Tucker. They'll say he's carrying water for a corrupt Putin.
Yeah.
They're going to villainize.
Well, they'll accuse him of getting involved in foreign policy negotiations, and that's a crime. I don't know what they call it, but there's a he's our climate czar. He's our climate he can do whatever he wants. He's John Kerry.
Yeah, he can go to Iran and sell us out, right?
Yes, correct.
Bottom line.
Yes.
This whole country is upside down, controlled by commies, and if we don't get I don't know what we're going to do with our.
Well, Richie, I got to run for the break. Good call. Thanks so much. Callers on hold. Stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Back after this.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on the Steve Kane Show.
Now, remember, guys, those of you that are members of the channel, I put up a video just for members, and I'm going to start doing more of those, but I asked some questions that I want you, if you're a member, go and watch that video from today and let me know in the comments your thoughts on what I was asking, because I'm curious about that. And also, members, there's some new emojis, including the Trump mugshot emoji, and if you become a member, you get access to all that exclusive content, exclusive videos and the emojis and everything else. So become a member, and of course you're supporting the channel when you do that too. This is this will be the greatest interview ever. The greatest interview ever.
and prosperity interests. You can
Mm-hmm.
call us or text us anytime at 561-626-4377. That's 626.
Well, American journalists have interviewed every dictator since television existed. And this is the one where they'll say, you can't do it. You can't interview this one.
Are you feeling the way you know you should be? This is John, CFO at Lighthouse Medical Center. Our hormone optimization therapy programs have helped so many people get back to feeling the way they did in their 20s. They're full of energy after a long day, reduced their risk of heart disease, sexual vigor and excitement are great, sleeping the way they should without disturbances, and reducing their symptoms of aging. Our all-natural hormone optimization therapy is precise.
If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe.
Office visits are usually less than 5 times per year, and the cost is only $150 per month for most patients. Let our medical team get you optimized and living your best life. Our family medical practice has been serving South Florida for over 71 years. Let us show you what personalized medical care and being treated like family feels like. Call us at 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. Or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule your consultation today.
We'll be back shortly. Oh yeah, this one. The press and the government would be waiting to pick up Tucker when he returned to the United States after that interview. He might have to relocate to like Snowden. They'll treat him like he's some kind of criminal, like Julian Assange. Mm-hmm. We'll be back right after this.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve King Show is on the air.
All right, callers on hold, stand by. It is Tuesday. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve King Show, Florida's longest running radio show. That's right. And if you're just tuning in, it was announced early this morning, late last night, that Tucker Carlson is interviewing Putin. This came out of Russian state television, and Tucker was just in Hungary. This is just an amazing interview. It could stop the forever war in Ukraine. This is great stuff, and that's what we're talking about right now. But first, I want to tell you about the Thomas Edison of sleep. Mike Lindell, the inventor of the My Pillow. You know, the My Pillow slippers, I have 2 pairs of these. They are so wonderful. I wear them at home all the time. Anytime I'm home, I'm wearing my My Pillow, My slippers. Now, they're good for all day wear, and you can wear them anywhere. They're so comfortable. When I go home, and they're right at the front door, and I put my feet in the My Pillow, My slippers, it's all the stress just leaves my body. And what I realized, I did not know this, the patented fill from the My Pillows is actually inside the My slippers. And of course, they perfectly hit on all the pressure points, relieving the stress from your body through your feet. And it's like getting a foot massage when you wear the My Pillow, My slippers. They're as low as $25 a pair with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, at mypillow.com. They have new colors in and new sizes. For the guys, they have larger and wider sizes they didn't have before. And for the ladies and kids, they have smaller sizes as well available, as well as a whole bunch of new colors. So go to mypillow.com, order your My Pillow, My slippers as low as $25 a pair with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. You can also order by phone, toll-free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879, promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. And remember, you can take advantage of all the specials at mypillow.com with our promo code KANE at checkout, not just the ones I highlight. All right, so I want to stick on this Putin interview that Tucker is doing for a while before I move on to some other things, but there's a lot of other stories to cover today as well. But let's get to these calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Sherry calling from Texas. How you doing, Brian?
All right, Texas. What's up?
Hey, my first question is, if they do end up arresting Tucker for going over there and having a sit-down with Vlad, will that take the focus off of Trump here
No, it would highlight it because it would show what listen. Every dictator since television has existed has been interviewed multiple times by all the network mainstream media. Gaddafi, Chavez. So to jail a journalist for interviewing another dictator, while they may get some short-term gains because the media would celebrate the arresting of a journalist, believe it or not, it would be short-lived. It would scare the hell out of people.
And it could be a wake-up call, because I've been listening since you, started this morning, is why would Vladimir Putin be so anxious and willing to sit down with one of our journalists and expose perhaps everything, which is going to blow the top off of possibly all the corrupt.
Well, let me ask you, if Tucker Carlson interviews Putin, and again, this interview may have already happened. Now we know why he interviewed Andrew Tate. He interviewed Andrew Tate because I think he wanted Putin to see what he'll do with a very controversial, hated Eastern European man. So now I think that's probably why he interviewed Andrew Tate. I was wondering why he did that. And I bet there's something to do with this. Do you think it is a strong possibility that Biden would arrest Tucker Carlson after a Putin interview when he returns to the United States?
No doubt.
Really? I mean, every caller has said that. I mean, think about where we are in America, where people just assume that a journalist is going to be arrested for doing journalism.
That's scary, right? I mean, if you really think about it, if people are perhaps on the same platform and speaking the same language in this area, that's scary. That's a wake-up call. I mean,
my Lord, and Fox News and the corporate media, I think, would applaud it and talk about the dangers that he's putting the country in by interviewing this dictator, even though how many times was Bin Laden interviewed? Or Chavez or Saddam, remember that interview with Saddam Hussein when he had all the children hostages all on his lap like he was grandpa? Give me a break.
Like he was Santa.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, this is, and I'll tell you what, kudos for this interview if it has taken place or if it's about to take place on Tucker. God bless him.
Oh yeah, I mean this is an absolutely amazing thing. I got to meet Tucker Carlson at Turning Point USA a few weeks ago, and he's an amazing person. He is an amazingly brave person. He's taken a Putin interview is an amazing risk, and I know people say, well, what crime? What crime? They're arresting President Trump's lawyers. Since when do they arrest lawyers? Are they going to in New York? They're prosecuting this Long Island serial killer. He's pleading not guilty. His lawyer's going to go to court and argue he didn't do it. Are they going to arrest the Long Island serial killer's attorneys because he's pleading not guilty and arguing that in a court when he's clearly guilty? Since when do they arrest people's lawyers? So when they're arresting Trump's lawyers, like America's mayor and war hero Mayor Giuliani, what makes you think they wouldn't arrest Tucker?
Well, think about this. You've got a powerhouse, Trump, the best president ever, and then you've got a powerhouse journalist that is now stepping up and speaking out and traveling across the world to expose exactly what our government is doing. They're popping the cap, and it's going to be exposed, and God help and cover Trump and cover Tucker.
Yes. All right. Take care. Appreciate the call. Yeah. I mean, this is scary. Every single caller has said they would expect Tucker to be arrested after such an interview. Doesn't that scare you? That we just assume that journalists are going to be arrested for doing their job. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Cynthia from County.
Hey, Cynthia.
I disagree. I don't think that they will arrest him. I think they have caused enough damage. I think they realize now that they're not going to get reelected, and this is just not about Biden. This is about the rest of the Democrat Party. Tucker is a force. He's going to tell the truth, even if they did arrest him, which I don't think they will. And what he's saying has been written about for so long. I just listened to his speech in Hungary. It's amazing. I would tell everybody, go onto Twitter and listen to his speech, not the interview with Orban, that too, but listen to his latest speech. And
it's a great one. The one in Hungary, it's a great speech that Tucker gave. I watched it.
Yes, and I mean, if you know, I always tell people, read the American Conservative magazine, the old Pat Buchanan magazine. Go back and listen to what Pat Buchanan said. This is the military-industrial complex, like you had said, Brian. They are making money on the backs of the people who are getting killed, Ukrainians and also Russia. Ukraine is so corrupt from the bottom up. I mean, it is a corrupt country, and the people. Do they know it? Probably yes, and probably no.
Yeah, but our country is corrupt too. I mean, we're just as corrupt.
Yeah, yes. I mean, I'm not, I'm not going to go, oh, bad, Russia bad, Ukraine good. No, I don't believe that either. I believe that each country has its own sovereignty. Is Russia threatening nuclear war around the world? I haven't heard him say that. Why are we doing this? I mean, from what I read and what I see, and I read everything and go everywhere to read it, right and left, and especially European, I would say that that Russia is building churches. Ukraine is,
well, Ukraine is forbidding. There's no freedom. Zelensky has suspended freedom of religion, freedom of the press, and also he said no presidential elections until after the war is over, which could be 35 years.
Right. How about the Netherlands, the farmers being welcome in Russia? How about the South African farmers who have been so abused?
Yeah.
From the corruption that they have in their country. Okay, all those people now, a lot of the farmers are moving to Russia to farm land. I mean, look at, I know people in Russia. Their grocery stores are amazing. They've been eating the whole time. I mean, yeah, is it perfect? No. Is it do they have freedom like us?
No, I watch a lot of YouTubers in Russia, and they go to the malls and to the stores all the time. Like McDonald's pulled out, so out of Russia, at virtue signaling. So yeah, exactly. So a French company moved into the big Moscow McDonald's and took it over, and it looks just the same. I mean, things, whatever embargo against Russia is going on, it's not having much impact. But what would freak out Biden and the powers that be is if Putin says that he wants to have an immediate ceasefire and peace talks with Zelensky and Biden. That would put them up against it. They don't want that to happen because the money stops.
Well, listen to what Trump said. I will stop it in one day. Isn't that what he said?
Well, yeah, and Tucker might be able to stop it in just a couple days. I think that. Okay, hey, listen, I appreciate the call. I'm coming up to the top of the hour. Okay, take care. Thanks so much. What this interview would do with Putin, it would humanize him as opposed to being this big bad boogeyman. Now, listen, obviously we have a major hurricane coming to the Gulf Coast of Florida. And I want to tell you guys that Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting covers the entire state of Florida. He helped listeners of ours on the Gulf Coast after last year's hurricanes. So, yeah, that's right. He covers the entire state of Florida, both coasts, all the way up through the Panhandle and everything. So, if you're over in that part of the state where the hurricane is coming, or people who are, if you have damage from this god-awful hurricane, it looks to be a really rough one, call Tom Laporta. His response time is amazing. Don't trust these guys driving around the neighborhoods after the storm in pickup trucks, okay? Don't trust it. Call Tom Laporta. Now, the number we give out for Tom Laporta rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone. He'll never sell you a roof you do not need, and he is trusted by Steve Kane, whose roof he had to replace because Steve, well, he ignored his roofing problems. But this number, you want to write this number down and put it on your refrigerator because you might lose power and lose internet, and you'll have it right there on your refrigerator. 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602, and online, LaportaContracting.com. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our break for the top of the hour. I'll take some more calls on this Tucker interview with Putin, which I hope it happens. It's amazing, and it could change the world. It really could. But there are some other topics I will get into as well as the show goes on. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE1, 888-465-2631. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Back after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Broadcasting from the Ropes.
All right. Oh.
Called the Ropes Law Group, where winning is a habit.
This is just a beautiful thing going on, guys. A beautiful thing. Tucker Carlson interviewing Putin. Let me know if you agree with this, yes or no. He could end the war. Do you agree with me? Do you think Tucker Carlson could end the war in Ukraine by interviewing Putin? I mean, we all agree for the most part that he'll be arrested, right? Could he end the war? I think he could. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah, look at all those yeses. And one thing we know for sure is this government doesn't want to end the war. Well, maybe is a good chance. I'll take maybe. Oh, he could embarrass the United States into supporting a ceasefire and peace talks. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They're not psychos, they're just greedy. You know, what drives these crazy people get even nuttier when you cut off their money. It's sad. Well, the American people want peace. I don't think the war in Ukraine is popular in this country. Okay, hold on. I got to get things organized here. It's our top of the hour break. We'll be back shortly. Oh, yes. Can't forget that story. And I'm just getting my stuff ready for the next couple of segments. Ugh. Man, I hope that interview with Tucker and Putin happens. That would be some interview. I mean, that would be just an amazing interview. And watch how the media in this country spin it, right? It's disgusting. Mm-hmm. Great communicator stepping up. That's right. Well, Tucker is a great communicator, just like Trump's a great communicator. Oh, it would definitely break the internet. All right, we're back after this.
Most Republicans believe that 2020
a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your cell phone with installation of your Sloman Shield. You can see your home right from the palm of your hand. And that's not all. Sloman's going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you're getting an LED.
Okay. I'm just getting things organized for the next couple of segments. There's some other topics to bring up afterward. I mean, obviously, you can call throughout the whole show on this Tucker interview with Vladimir Putin. Here we go. All right, welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Call us on hold, stand by. If you're just tuning in, what we've been talking about in the first hour, it was announced from the head of Russian state television that Tucker Carlson is brokering a one-on-one sit-down interview with Vladimir Putin. And we're talking about how great that interview would be on the program this morning. Could very well end this war, this endless war in Ukraine. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug.
Certainly, if they can fire Tucker and come up with fake charges like RICO for Giuliani and everything, they can certainly arrest Tucker. This is
well, could you see the Biden regime arresting Tucker Carlson after interviewing Putin when he returns to the United States?
Oh yeah, I think number one, it's a good thing to get away from all the crimes of Biden. So they'll arrest him just to have another thing to people focus on that.
You know, this is crazy. I have asked every caller for the last hour if they think that Biden would arrest Tucker for interviewing Vladimir Putin. Everyone has said yes without hesitation. I mean, what does that say about our country when our people just assume that a journalist will be arrested for doing journalism? What does that say? Where are we?
What I say is it says that elections have consequences, and man, this is what's going on there. Maybe he won't, but it's a good possibility, and I would be worried if I was Tucker.
I wouldn't be surprised. It would. What about this? You know, the government has the capability to do this. What if they shut down access to the interview on Twitter in the United States? They may not want. They may try to block it so we couldn't see it. Could they do? You think they would do that?
They might. I didn't think of that, but that's something they could possibly do.
Oh my!
I tell you, when evil lurks in the hearts of men, as they say, we'll certainly find.
All right, Conservative Doug, thanks for your call. Our number toll free 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. I want to play this clip of Tucker. This is Tucker talking about President Trump.
I think looking back on this 10 years from now, assuming we're still around, I think we're going to see Trump's emergence as the most significant thing to happen in American politics in 100 years, because he reoriented the Republican Party against the wishes of Republican leaders. But when I think about Trump right now, I'm struck by his foreign policy views. Trump is the only person with stature in the Republican Party, really, who's saying, wait a second, why are we supporting an endless war in Ukraine? All I can say at this point is I'm so grateful that he has that position. He's right. And everyone in Washington's wrong. Everyone. Mm-hmm. And Trump is right on that question. And it's a big question. That war is reshaping the world. It's reshaping the economy of the world. It's reshaping populations. I was just in Romania last week, which is, of course, shares a border with Ukraine. The refugees in that region, the number of people killed in that war, Europe will never be the same because of this war. And it really matters. And Trump alone among popular figures in both parties understands that, and I'm grateful for it. Whether he gets the nomination or gets elected, words really matter. Saying something true out loud matters. And he is saying true things about Ukraine, and God bless him. That's how I feel.
Wow. Okay. So that kind of gives you a little feeling of how Tucker would go into an interview with Putin, because the main focus would, of course, be Ukraine. Oh, man. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE 1. I want to continue to hear your thoughts on Tucker's interview with Putin, which that would break the internet. That's an overused phrase, but I think that would be the biggest interview to ever hit the internet. Now, I want to throw something else out, too. Ron DeSantis, a few things with DeSantis. We've been talking about, since the Iowa State Fair, Ron DeSantis, his body language has been that of depression. He looks defeated. Getting booed by Floridians in Jacksonville over the weekend after the shooting, and it was humiliating. He had to have a Democrat woman save him from the crowd. Oh, that's manly. You see Trump saved by Democrat women in crowds. It was insane. It was embarrassing. Certainly not leadership material. But yesterday, President Trump posted on Truth Social that he is hearing in political circles, of which he's like the leader of the political circles. President Trump posted on Truth Social yesterday that he's hearing from political circles that Ron DeSantis is considering dropping out of the presidential race and running for the United States Senate against Rick Scott, who was the governor before DeSantis. And I know they're saying in the media, oh, that's not true. That's just wishful thinking. That's just Trump trying to get them to talk about him. No, when President Trump says things like that, they're always true. He is very much in the know. I'm not saying he's going to run against Rick Scott, who's incredibly popular. Rick Scott was a 2-term governor. We had him over at Wings Plus. He was an amazing governor and loved in Florida, like DeSantis, and now he's a very popular U.S. senator. But DeSantis, what that tells me is he's looking for an exit strategy. This hurricane that's coming to Florida is a bad one. It's being estimated by all the experts that when it hits land in Florida, it's going to be a Category 3 or 4. Pretty bad one. Pretty bad storm. And he has suspended his presidential campaign to come to Florida to deal with the hurricane and the aftermath of the Jacksonville shooting. Do you think that Ron DeSantis will use the aftermath of the hurricane as an exit strategy from his humiliation that he's facing in this presidential campaign? What do you guys think? Or will he go back to the presidential campaign after the storm and everything's cleaned up? I'd like to know your thoughts on that. I think he's looking for a way out. And this may be his only way out of complete and total humiliation. I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Our number, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning. Yes, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
JFK Hospital.
JFK Hospital. Is this Liberal Al? What are you in the hospital for? Baker acted again?
No, spinal surgery. Spinal fusion surgery.
Ah, oh my goodness.
Hey.
Have you had the surgery yet?
No, I'm about 23 minutes away from...
23 minutes away from back surgery, and you're on the phone with me. All right. What's on your mind?
You're entertaining, so, any case, listen, DeSantis, I agree with you, DeSantis will probably drop out. He's not a good campaigner, and so that's a given. But Trump is going to have a legal hurdle that he's not going to be able to overcome. He will not be on any...
Well, listen, I'm not gonna treat you with the same respect I normally do, because you're on your back and ready to have surgery, and it sounds like they've given you some drugs already because you're slurring your words and everything else, and for that kind of surgery you're going under total anesthesia, which always makes me nervous when someone in my family is going under anesthesia. So I'm not going to give you too much of a hard time, but I do want to hear your thoughts. Before you go into this major surgery, I want to hear your thoughts about Tucker Carlson interviewing Putin. You think that's a good idea? I'm very excited about it.
Well, Tucker Carlson is a Putin... I don't know if he's getting money from Putin or whatever, but whatever that interview happens, I'm sure he'll have high ratings, he'll make some good money, but it won't mean anything because Ukraine is going to win the war prior to...
They're going to win the war. Russia has never lost a war except a minor skirmish with Japan over 100 years ago. You're telling me... What? Oh, Afghanistan doesn't count. I'm talking about one that involved actual Russian territory, and they defeated Napoleon. They defeated Hitler. So, hey, listen. Good luck in the surgery.
Yeah, I want to give FAU a call. You're a history major, history degree, and you don't remember Afghanistan.
I remember Afghanistan, but Afghanistan doesn't count.
Why doesn't it count? It was a war.
It wasn't a war in Russian territory. Listen, good luck in the surgery, and hopefully we'll be hearing from you again. All right, take care. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. Liberal Al, he's in a hospital bed 20 minutes away from major surgery. Sounds a little dopey. They gave him the little pre-drugs, but he still took time to spew his liberal nonsense on the program this morning. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to feel older. This is Brian Craig, and I want to tell you about my anti-aging doctor.
Oh, man, I tell you. I know. Well, I wasn't going to doubt him too much while he's ready to go in, you know.
You'll feel younger, you'll have more energy, you'll get your sex drive back. And women, hormone replacement pellet therapy completely stops and reverses all the signs and symptoms of menopause. Mood swings, gone. Night sweats, gone. I've met listeners before and after hormone replacement pellet therapy with Dr. Matez, and when I first meet them, they're like Joe Biden, and no one wants to be like him. And then I meet them again.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Jane.
Replacement pellet therapy, and they have their energy back, just like Trump. They're standing up tall, and they feel years younger.
Now, don't forget, those of you that are members to the channel, check out all the member exclusive content, including the video I put up today. I did that before I went on the air, and we have the Trump mugshot emoji that's new for members, and if you become a member, you get access to all that stuff.
Summer blowout sale is back, but only for a very limited time. Check out a 3-day, 2-night cruise in the Bahamas, starting at only $99 for 2 guests. An incredible deal.
I was up way too late last night. Oh, yeah. Oh, I got a new update on Ramaswamy. Oh. I've been talking about Tucker for an hour and 15 minutes. Thanks, Elizabeth. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Make sure you subscribe if you're new to my channel. We'll be back in just a minute. I am starving. I went to bed without having dinner last night. Oh, I love blackberries and blueberries. I love blueberry pie. Oh, my goodness. All right, we're coming back.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at TrueOldiesFLA.com.
All right, welcome back. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Now, I didn't want to get into this while I was talking to Liberal Al before the break, but I'm going to do it now. And some of you were probably wondering why I didn't do it then, but the guy's ready to have surgery. So, you know, I'm going to go a little lighter on Liberal Al than I normally would. And it's major surgery he's going into. If you have been told you need surgery for pain, like your back, like Al's going through, or your knees, or some other type of pain, before you have the surgery, go see Dr. Philip Appleton and talk to him about his laser wave pain treatment. You know, I have known so many people that have had knee surgery and back surgery for pain. I have never known someone who told me, I had that knee surgery and it feels so good now, I'm pain-free, or I had that back surgery and I'm awesome now. Usually what they tell you is, oh yeah, I had my surgery and my second surgery is scheduled for whatever. Have you ever heard that from guys? I've heard that from so many guys I've known over the years. Before you have surgery, go see Dr. Appleton. His laser wave pain treatment, it works, guys. His number is 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Online, AppletonCairo.com. And remember, appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. All right, so we got a lot out on the table. I've got something new on Ramaswamy that I'm going to get to in a moment. But if you're just tuning in, I got a couple questions on the table. In reverse order, we're having a major hurricane hit the west coast of Florida, category 3 or 4. This one's a bad one, guys. Really bad hurricane. Yes or no? Do you think Ron DeSantis will use the hurricane as a way out of his failing presidential campaign? And the other one is Tucker Carlson. It was leaked out from Russian state television that Tucker is brokering an interview with Vladimir Putin, which could end the endless war in Ukraine. What are your thoughts on that interview? Every caller that I've asked has answered yes. I've asked every caller this morning, do you think the Biden regime could arrest Tucker Carlson after a Putin interview when he returns to the United States? And every caller has said it could happen. That's the America we're in now. Pretty scary. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, you're spot on. This is the best way that the sanctimonious can exit with a little
hurricane disaster recovery efforts. I've got to focus on Florida. I'm dropping out of the race to focus on that.
That's the only way that's the only way he can save face. He has disgraced himself. He is so low on the polls. There's no way he's going to win, and he knows it. And why would he not take this as an opportunity to save some face?
Yeah, I think it may be his only opportunity till next hurricane season.
But I do disagree with you on Tucker Carlson. I believe it's going to take President Trump getting in office to stop that war and to stop China on Taiwan, and a lot of other things going on in the globe, because the day President Trump gets nominated, wins the election.
Yeah. Well, what do you think the reaction would be to Tucker's interview with Putin in this country? What do you think? Yeah.
I believe that our government's going to go after him.
And what about the media? Do you think the media, which includes Fox, who fired him, do you think they would praise the interview with Putin? No one else has got, no major American journalist that I know of since this forever Ukraine war began has sit down and had a one-on-one with Vladimir Putin.
Well, I believe the mainstream news media is going to twist it and use it negatively against him somehow.
They'll call him a collaborator. CNN was interviewing Saddam Hussein during the Gulf War, right? I mean, come on. That was okay.
Yep. So, we're living in very strange, very trying times for us on the world scene. And what's worse is what's happening here in America. With everything going on with open border and everything with the drugs and the illegals and the crime, to our economy, to our education system, our country's imploding.
It sure is.
Donald Trump's the only one that's going to stop that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. All right, Jeff from Maine, take care. Thanks for the call. Jeff's calls are always very, very good. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Good morning.
Hi, this is Tony in Boca.
Hey, Tony.
So I'm one of the things that it keeps coming up is, when are these guys gonna get the point and drop out of the race? And they're just clinging on to see if anything is gonna happen with Trump to where he can't run. And I think what you'll find is once he's cleared of everything, they're gonna start dropping off like flies.
Oh yeah.
To that point.
So you don't think Ron DeSantis is going to drop out? You think he's going to continue to humiliate himself every day?
I think it's quite possible, because in his mind, he thinks that if Trump, for whatever reason, can't run, then that's his opening.
But he's getting booed everywhere he goes. He's getting booed everywhere that he goes, DeSantis.
I agree. And he should drop out now. But I just think the reason why you still see such a big field is because they in their minds, they think the establishment can do something to prevent it.
Now, what do you think? What do you think about Tucker interviewing Putin and Mother Russia? I think this is awesome.
Oh yeah, it's exactly what we need. I mean, the media now is obviously biased, and this goes against the military-industrial complex, right? So
yeah,
that we can actually sit down and converse, and the thing with Russia is people don't realize that NATO is actually moving in closer and closer, right? So that's a big part of the reason why Putin is on the opposite.
Well, I think it's highly likely if Tucker in his interview with Vladimir Putin, I think it's highly likely that Putin says, I will call for an immediate ceasefire and a summit meeting with Zelensky and Biden and begin peace talks. I could see him doing that. Putin is a very smart man. You don't stay in power long after term limits are up for as long as he has and not be smart and not be a manipulator and everything. That would put this government on the spot. I mean, would they turn down a ceasefire and peace talks openly? How could they? Would the American people accept that?
I was just going to say exactly what you said. That puts us on the spot to really make a decision, right? What is the real reason we're at war?
So that Biden can get 10%.
Right. If we're at war to protect Ukraine, right? Then if the ceasefire is offered, we would take that in a second.
Now you're in Boca, right? What are your thoughts on this driving on the left side of the road when you cross the I-95 overpass on Glades Road in Boca? Have you been there yet?
I'm really a fan of it.
Oh, no.
Really a fan.
Scare the hell out of you the first time you do it, won't it?
Yeah, not only that, but if you get, an impaired driver or something, it's just asking for it.
Or one of the 93-year-olds in Boca that drive around.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very dangerous in Boca. I know. I drove my wife through that for the first time the other day. She about had a panic attack. She's like, "Brian, what are you doing? It's the wrong side of the road. This isn't England." I was like, "No, I know. It's Boca. We drive on the left side of the road." All right, take care, man. Thanks for the call. I'm not kidding. It's that road in Boca on the I-95 overpass is going to get people killed, and whoever approved that is going to be responsible. It's very dangerous, and because you're driving on the left side of the road. And the average age of a driver in Boca is about 87 years old. They're all like Biden, okay, on the road. It's very dangerous. All right, we'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. I think you're going to really love it. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s. This morning. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. So today we have a marginal risk for some severe storms.
Welcome, everyone. If you're new, make sure that you subscribe, okay? I just got a text from someone that said that their kid crashed there. Wow. Because of the left-handed side of the road. Yeah. Very dangerous. Who sponsored driving on the left side of the road? A body shop? What's going on? Mako? Who sponsored that? Oh, man. Yeah, make sure you subscribe and also like the video, guys, if you're already subscribed. That helps a lot, too. So it's absolutely amazing. Every single person I've asked today said that they could see Biden putting Tucker in jail for interviewing Putin. I mean, that's scary as hell that people just accept that that's a possibility. It's amazing to me that people think that's a real, legitimate possibility that could happen. I mean, what has happened to this country where there's been such a turn towards tyrants? I mean, what's more of a, which country is freer, Russia or us? When people assume that a journalist can be arrested. Yeah, you have to move in next door to Snowden. They arrested Donald Trump and his lawyers. What are the optics on that? The media would have meltdowns of anger towards Tucker for interviewing Putin. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now listen, guys, if you go to mypillow.com, there is a section there, and I don't know how long this is going to be, $5 specials at mypillow.com. And yeah, $5. They're called State Fair $5 specials. You can take advantage of all those with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. And there's just a handful of items for the $5 price, but hey, you know, it's a pretty good deal, including the Go Anywhere My Pillow, which is great for travel. I take that on our cruises. I might have to order a couple of those at this price. So, yeah, go there and take advantage of those $5 specials with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, at mypillow.com. Because I don't know how long those are going to last. And that's exclusive online. I'm not supposed to talk about those on the radio, so I'm telling you guys here off the air. $5 specials at mypillow.com with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E.
We install all kinds of roofs from asphalt shingle, clay and concrete tile, standing metal seam, slate tile, and flat roof systems. We work with homeowners, HOAs, commercial properties, and churches. We are state of Florida licensed roofing and general contractors. At LaPorta Contracting.
Absolutely. Rome was in the chat earlier, Jeff.
Restoration is what we do. We help guide our customers to a successful outcome by
Kathy Joe, hey.
every step of the way. At LaPorta Contracting, let our family take care of your family. Call me on my cell at 954-604-4602 or visit us on our website at laportacontracting.com. That number again is 954-604-4602.
Yeah, Jeff's calls are always good. Just because you don't see the moderators chatting does not mean there are not moderators watching. You understand, guys? And there are moderators that you don't know about. There are some moderators that don't chat. Just watch. Oh, man, the show is half over already. Flying by. It really is. And the weather is beautiful. I was going to ride my MAGA scooter today, but I left too late. When I ride the MAGA scooter, I got to leave much earlier than I do if I drive my car, because I can't take I'm not going to take my MAGA scooter on I-95. That's right, Philip. All right, we'll be back right after this.
I don't have time to spend hours in the doctor's office or waiting hours in one of those big labs. That's why I do any lab test now in Boca and any lab test now in Coral Springs for all of my lab work. Their techs are highly skilled and professional, and their prices are guaranteed to be the lowest on lab work you'll find anywhere. Appointments aren't necessary. Doctor's orders and prescriptions, they're not needed either. I'm in and out in 15 minutes or less. I get the results.
Well, thank you. Appreciate the compliments. Just the last commercial, then we'll be back.
Advertising on our radio station, so don't use the rest. Only go to any lab test now.
All right, Jane, take it.
Any lab test now of Coral Springs. Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalwood Plaza. That's where the Western Beef is, between Palmetto Park Road and Hillsborough Boulevard, on the east side of State Road 7, 441.
Well, yeah, some mods don't want to be pestered all the time by people, so they're stealthy.
Call any lab test now of Boca at 561-237-5009. Any lab test now of Coral Springs number is 954-906-5983. And don't forget to mention that you heard about them on the radio.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 46 years on the air.
All right, welcome back. Callers on hold, stand by. Let me do a quick recap. It was announced by Russian state television that Tucker Carlson is brokering a one-on-one sit-down interview with Putin. We've been talking about that a lot this morning. It could end the forever war in Ukraine, and that's a good thing. We're very excited about that. And it's been really alarming to me. Every caller, I've asked every caller this morning, do you think that Biden would have Tucker arrested after such an interview with Putin? And every caller says, yes, it's possible. That's crazy. Also talking about, will DeSantis use the hurricane as an out of this humiliation known as his presidential campaign? He did suspend his campaign and returned to Florida. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Kool-Aid from West Palm.
Hey, West Palm. What's up?
Hey, you know, as cool as this Tucker interview is with Putin, all Putin does is lie. So I really don't believe a word that comes out of this guy's mouth. So, and number two, I really don't think they're going to arrest Tucker coming back. That would just...
Well, you say Putin lies. Can you give me an example of a lie that Putin has told? You said everything he says is a lie. Like what?
All of his losses in the troop losses, his equipment losses.
Oh, this is interesting. So you have access to intelligence. You know what the losses and everything are. That's interesting. Okay, you never know who's listening.
I'm not saying I'm an expert. I pay attention.
Okay.
Okay, he's lying about his troop.
You say Putin lies, so Tucker shouldn't interview him. Well, what about Joe?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, you're an asshole, bro.
Okay, all right. Oh boy. See, that's why you hang up on the caller first. He used the F word and then the A word. Yeah, he used both of them. All right, callers on hold, stand by. I'm going to wait for the delay to build back up before we take more calls. Wow. Wow. I had some questions for that guy. I'm not going to tell you what they were. I'll save them for another caller. But that was the first time we've had two of the forbidden words of profanity in the same sentence. Yeah. See, that's why I always tell people, when you have someone who uses profanity, you hang up on the caller first and then hit the dump button. And what happens when you hit the dump button, you go live. There's no delay. Okay? And, you know, the Steve Kane Show, we hold a couple of world records in radio. This is the longest running radio show in the state of Florida, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio. That's a great record. And that's a Florida record, though. Okay, because the Grand Ole Opry's had a radio show on since radio was invented. So, you know, it's going to be tough to beat that nationally. However, we have another record that is a national record. I would put this up against any show. We have had to use the dump button for profanity more than any other radio station in America in the history of radio. We hold that record, too. I got to come up with like a tagline for that. And, you know, and for those that don't know, we're on delay. The delay, when you're, whatever radio station you're listening to us on or whatever online platform, I am in the future. What you were hearing was said some time ago, and how long depends on what radio station or platform, but it averages about 10 seconds. I'm 10 seconds into the future on average, sometimes 7.5 seconds in the future from what you're actually hearing. And when someone uses profanity, we hit the dump button, we go live, and it cuts that out. So, but if I wouldn't have hung up on him first and just hit the dump button, the second word would have went out. That's why you hang up on the caller and then hit the dump button. All right, the delay has built back up. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. It's Sandra from Boca. How are you?
Hey, Sandra. I'm doing great. How are you? You're on delay, too, on YouTube.
Good.
About 10 seconds.
I wanted to touch base about DeSantis. I don't think he's going to drop out.
He's getting, everywhere he goes, he's been booed. Jacksonville, the Iowa State Fair. You can see in his body language he's depressed and humiliated.
Yeah, but he's too far. You know, when you're in over your head and you can't really get out anymore.
Yeah.
Really, it would really make him look, I think, even worse. He wouldn't even look like even a quarter of a leader if he backed out. That's just my opinion.
Well, he certainly didn't look like a leader in Jacksonville when he's getting booed, and then a Democrat old lady had to save him. That local Democrat city councilman is like 78 years old, and she had to come in and save him after he got saved by the lady governor of Iowa. I mean, this guy hides behind women. That's not a strong leader.
Well, his ego is what did him in.
Okay. So what do you think about Tucker Carlson's interview with Vladimir Putin? I'm excited.
For it, I think that would be one of the best things he could possibly do.
Oh, yeah. Do you think that Biden could arrest him for the interview when he returned home?
Not directly.
Not directly.
No. What I'm saying is I think that Tucker could be set up for other things right away.
Yeah.
Right away. It would be too obvious. And making Trump's thing look pretty obvious.
You know, I just forgot his name. What was the name of the UN weapons inspector, the American guy that said that Saddam didn't have WMDs? I forgot his name. Scott, I want to say Scott. Do you remember what I'm talking about? There was a guy, I can't remember his name. This was before the war in Iraq, and they were selling the WMD lie. And this guy was a UN weapons inspector. He was an American. And he was all over television saying that there were no WMDs in Iraq. I have been there. I have been to all the facilities. He was on every show every day. And Scott Ritter was his name. Somebody in the chat gave him the name, Scott Ritter. And then one morning I get up and turn on the news, and guess what? They found like some illegal things on his computer that involved pornography or something. I don't know. They got it, and then we didn't hear from Scott Ritter again. So, you know, not only can they surveil your computers, they can plant things on it too.
Absolutely. That's why I'm saying I don't think it's going to happen at first, but if we're just dealing with sinister people. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, I think it's highly likely that Tucker Carlson would ask a lot of great questions, but I think it's highly likely that Putin would agree to Tucker Carlson to an immediate ceasefire under the condition of peace talks between him, Zelensky, and Biden. And I don't think the United States, led by this senile, corrupt old coot that gets 10% of all the Ukraine funding and God knows what else, I don't think he would agree to that. It would put them in a really bad spot.
Well, I agree with you a lot, you know, in terms of what you're saying, in terms of what they could do to him, because after what happened when he exposed the January 6th.
Well, look what they've done to Trump. He's been arrested again, so.
I mean, what would it, now that has been exposed, they can't stand Tucker.
That's right.
So I don't put it past them.
All right. All right, take care. Thanks for the call. Wow. Now, one caller has said that they would not consider at least arresting Tucker for interviewing Putin. It's insane. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Barbara in Baltimore.
Hey, Barbara.
Hey, I just had some thoughts about the things that you're asking. I don't think Ron DeSantis is going to drop out because he made the statement that he's in a field of dreams, and that's where he is. And I think he believes he'll be the last man standing. Ramaswamy is his poll numbers are going to continue to come out. There's just things about him that have dropped.
Well, let me. Now that you mentioned Ramaswamy, there's a new story on Ramaswamy. Listen to this. Close friends of Jeffrey Epstein have donated more than $100,000 to Vivek Ramaswamy's 2024 campaign. So we've got the Soros money paying for his graduate school. Now we've got friends of Jeffrey Epstein giving over $100,000 to him. I mean, what does it take for people to say this guy's bad news? Epstein money, Soros money, what else do they want?
Anybody's money. Well, you know, he's a smart guy, but his numbers are going to continue to tank. And when I look at the rest of the people that are running, DeSantis is better than any of them. And that's what I think his hope is. Because now that the trial dates have been set for Donald Trump, and I mean starting on the day before Super Tuesday, these people are really planning to put the shiv down. And that could very well be what happens.
Well, we've got the first. We're going to have the. You know what happened last week was not an arraignment. The arraignment will be in a courtroom, and it's going to be. I'll check during the break, but I think it's September 8th. I'll look during the break to get the date right, and it's going to. Yeah. It could be on Zoom, but he very well may be there. He'll at least be there on Zoom. It'll be an arraignment. He'll either be in person or on Zoom. And the treatment that he gets, we're going to start to see on television in Fulton County, and it's going to turn even more people against the Democrats than already have turned.
Because that trial is going to be an eye-opener, because I want to know what they're going to do about the suitcase of ballots that came out.
Yeah. It's September, okay, I had the date wrong. September 6th is Trump's arraignment in Fulton County. September 6th, not 8th, September 6th. All right, I got to run for the break. Thanks for the call. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Ryan. I just want to say thank you for Dr. Appleton, because I'm from Orlando. It took 3 hours to go down there. It took my 90-year-old mom. My mom walked straighter than she ever walked in her life. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being such a willing vessel to talk about Dr. Appleton.
That's amazing. So you heard me in Orlando talking about Dr. Appleton and drove to South Florida with your mother to see him.
Yeah, my mom is awesome now. Awesome. No more arthritis, no more pills, none of that. She's going back to New York. She sits on the train for 24 hours. And I'm telling you, no pain. She gets off that train, and my sister says she walks like a young woman.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Call Dr. Appleton and say bye-bye to your pain, too. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Online, AppletonCairo.com. Brian Craig here, telling you about our 5th annual listener cruise. And you're all invited, except Liberal Al. Liberal Al, you're not invited, but the rest of you are. We leave April 27th on board the Celebrity Beyond, the flagship of celebrity cruises. We're going to the ABC Islands, Curacao.
I can't wait for the cruise.
We have short
This is an exciting one.
and I'll be on them all with you. We'll have
You know, most of the people on our cruise are people from YouTube, my podcast, like online listeners. A lot of people from the chat room that you've seen go on our cruises.
561-244-5779.
Hey, are you already dreaming about your next vacation getaway? Well, Margaritaville at Sea Summer Blowout Sale is back, but only for a very limited time. Check out a 3-day, 2-night cruise to the Bahamas, starting at only $99 for 2 guests. An incredible deal you won't see again this season. Enjoy delicious island-inspired cuisine, amazing live entertainment, spectacular ocean breezes, and so much more. Don't miss your last chance to break away to the Bahamas with cruises for 2, starting at $99. Book today at margaritavilleatsea.com.
Are you exhausted after work with no energy left in the tank to give your family? Are you having a midday crash on a daily basis? Women are
The show is flying by today.
Anxiety and depression making your daily life feel far more difficult than it should. Men, do you feel like you are aging far beyond what you should? Is your sexual life and relationship suffering because of disappointments in the bedroom? Then take action and let our medical team at Lighthouse Medical Center help you stop the symptoms that are holding you back. We use all natural hormone optimization therapies with precision technology to help solve your problematic symptoms. Our family-owned practice has had the honor of serving our South Florida community for over 71 years. Call us right now and let our medical team get you optimized and feeling the way that you should. Life is too short to be running at less than 100%. You and your family deserve the best version of you. Call us at 754-222-6642 or visit us at lighthousemedicalcenter.com to schedule your consultation today.
We take on the social justice warrior for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is on the air.
All right, welcome back. Callers on hold, stand by. Phone's very busy today. Brought up a lot of great things. Our number toll free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. How long does it take you to fall asleep at night when you get into bed? You know me, it's almost instant. My wife will tell you, we'll be talking, and then all of a sudden, I'm not responding. It's because I'm asleep. When I lay down in bed on my 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper 2.0 with cooling technology, that's it. I'm in heaven. The 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper 2.0, which is 40% off at MyPillow.com with our promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, it turns your entire mattress, your entire bed, into a MyPillow. It is just like sleeping on a cloud. It's absolutely amazing. My daughter comes to visit. We converted my daughter's bedroom into another room with no bed. So we have like a cot And she came to stay, and the first night, we ordered the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper 2.0 for the cot, but her first night, it hadn't arrived yet, and she slept on it, and then the second night, she slept on the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper 2.0. She said the night before was like sleeping on a slab of concrete, and sleeping on the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper 2.0 was like sleeping on a cloud. You'll fall asleep instantly too, and sleep the whole night long in a deep sleep. The 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper 2.0 with cooling technology comes in all mattress sizes and is 40% off with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. You can also order by phone toll-free, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. All right, let's go back to our very busy phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian.
Yes.
Chris from formerly Boynton, now Port St. Lucie.
Oh, Port St. Lucie, yes.
So, I'm calling because I'm just curious as to why you keep throwing President Biden in this meeting. We don't need President Biden in this meeting with Tucker Carlson and Vladimir Putin. The man that needs to be in that meeting is Mr. Donald J. Trump.
Yeah. Well, that's not going to happen. First off, I never said President Biden should be in the meeting. I said Biden. Let's clarify that. He doesn't deserve the respect of the title because he's a senile old coot that takes bribes, okay, and sniffs women's hair. But this war is between the United States and Russia. It's a proxy war. And obviously, to end it, we would need the United States there, and that would be Biden or his very effeminate Secretary of State. You know, there was Zelensky and Putin to end it. What do you think about Tucker interviewing Putin?
I got no issue with it. I think it's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Interviewer, he asked the tough questions, and, he'll get to the bottom of some things. Now, one caller said that he doesn't trust Putin to give a straight answer, and I have to agree with that. I don't think you're going to get a straight answer out of that.
So what? Who cares?
What would be the point of the interview if you're not going to get straight answers?
To end a war where thousands are dying. I mean, President Trump has even talked about this. The number of those that have died in Ukraine, President Trump has said, is far beyond what's being reported. And for us not to have peace talks is insane. There were peace talks throughout the Vietnam War in Paris, nonstop. They may not have ended the war. There were peace talks during the Korean War constantly. Okay? You know, this is insane.
Someone with more intelligence from the United States has to be there than the people you...
Well, that's who's running the country right now. So, hey, listen, appreciate the call, man. Take care from Port St. By the way, Port St. Lucie, I almost moved there a few months ago, but I didn't because Port St. Lucie has the highest sales or the highest property tax in Florida of any of our others. We have 67 counties, highest property taxes. And then I just read that last week that they're raising taxes again, including sales tax in St. Lucie County. I mean, my goodness. It is tough. It is tough. But I'll be spending a lot of time there because President Trump's document trial is going to be in St. Lucie County at the Fort Pierce Federal Courthouse. So I'll be up there for that. All right, take care, man. Thanks for the call. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Vicki from Port St. Lucie.
Oh, we're hot in Port St. Lucie today. 2 calls in a row from Port St. Lucie. What's up?
About your question, my first, my knee-jerk answer to that would be no, I don't think they would. And then I thought to myself, how could you possibly credit them with any kind of reasonableness? So I don't put anything past them that would be authoritarian or...
So what are you agreeing with? That Tucker could be arrested after interviewing Putin?
He would be in danger of being...
Arrested. Yeah.
Absolutely. One thing I'd like you to cover, Brian, sometime is to explain what ballot harvesting is.
What is? What is? I did. Oh my God! Now I will put people to sleep with that. But maybe one day when it gets closer to when we get closer to the election, maybe we'll talk about it because the Republicans say they're going to do that in Florida in the next election. I'll look into it. All right. Thanks for the call from Port St. Lucie. Boy, 2 calls in a row. We should have some. Do we have sponsors in Port St. Lucie on the station? We should. We should, Mike. Oh man, we should have a nice restaurant or something in Port St. Lucie. I could go have breakfast after the show with our listeners up there. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, good morning.
Yes. Good morning.
This is Dean from Boynton Beach.
Hey, Dean.
I love your subject this morning. I want to comment on all of them. If there's time for me, I'll start with DeSantis. I don't think he's going to drop. He has too much ego to drop out of the race, even though he knows there's no chances for him to win or even get the nomination. Regarding Vivek Ramaswamy, this guy is full of shit.
All right. Okay. All right. Oh my goodness. I thought he was gonna just, I don't disagree with what he said. That guy sounded like such a nice guy. If you watch on YouTube, you can see this. Doing a show like this is like running a marathon. I've been up since 2 a.m. because I got to get up early to do show prep. I am so over-caffeinated. We're almost 2 hours into the broadcast, and I'm going very high energy, and I hear this guy, very nice guy, right? So I was going to say, he wants to comment on everything and brought up. He's never called before, I don't think, right? First time call, so I'm going to give him a break, and I just relaxed. I thought, oh, okay, I can relax. And I just sat back, and I was like, well, let me let this guy talk. I think he's a new caller, and just let him go and not give him a hard time, and I can take a break, like a pit stop. And as soon as I do it, he drops profanity on the air. The word was an accurate word, but you can't use it. I had to hit the delay. Oh, my goodness. It really shows, how many times have I had to hit the dump button today? I mean, I've had to hit the dump button more than once. It shows that there's a lot of passion behind this subject. Okay, now, we'll wait for the delay to build back up. If you're on hold, hang in there. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. See, you can never take a break when you're doing this show. Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. I've hit that dump button so many times, it gave me arthritis in this finger. That's true. It's true. I'm not kidding. All right, our number's toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. All right, the delay has built back up. Oh, my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Patty from New Jersey.
Hey, Patty, I'm not going to have to use the dump button to dump your profanities like these other people, am I?
Absolutely not. I don't use profanity.
Yeah.
So I promise I'll keep it clean. But anyway, as far as Tucker going over to meet with Putin, I hope that there's a couple of things. I hope that somehow, some way, he can relay the message to Putin to, keep his heels cool until we can get ourselves straightened out here that whatever is going on over in Ukraine is not the will of the American people. It's the will of the corrupt American
people. Well, I don't think we want Tucker Carlson to do an interview with Putin and start and become a representative for President Trump. Hang in there until Trump's back. No. That would not do well for us. That would not help us.
I just hope, that's my biggest fear is that I just hope that Putin realizes that that's not, what's going on over there is not the American people doing that. That is the corruption in this country doing it.
Yeah.
The only thing that I worry about with Tucker is I was kind of hoping that Trump would bring him in as, like his press person or something like that. And I can just see down the road where they're going to say, like General Flynn.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're going to spin it and make it.
Then he goes to jail. Yeah, exactly. Well, here's the thing. Obviously, Russia and Putin, it's not a great country, and he's a dictator and has got a lot of issues. But the biggest threat to this country is not Russia, it's Mexico, who is allowing a slave trade invasion to take place as we speak. All right, we got to run for the break. Thanks for the call. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back after this.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK HD3 Indiantown.
Oh, my goodness.
Everything paid for by Vic Canales Media Group.
That might be the guy calling back on the next line
Injured recently? Call the Ropes
that I had to dump.
where winning is a habit. 561-570-5700. 561-570-5700. Ropes, winning for you and our community. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the Palm Beach Patio Furniture Weather Center, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created, here's the Oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. So today we have a marginal risk for some severe storms, all related to Idalia, which is
Yes, Potty Mouth Tuesday. That's right.
So we'll see some gusty storms late this afternoon and especially over tonight. The winds are also going to be gusting. I'm WPBF 25 First Warning Meteorologist Sandra Shaw.
Weather brought to you by Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Route 170 Plaza Shops, North Palm Beach. Palm Beach Patio Furniture. Voted in the best patio store in Palm Beach County. PalmBeachPatioFurniture.com, where luxurious outdoor spaces are created.
And now, a Trolley's traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
Talk. Okay. Steve, can you hear me? Steve, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Testing 1 2 3 1 2 3.
That sounds good. Can you hear me?
1 2 3 3 2 1. Hi ho, hi ho.
Yeah, that sounds good. But you can't hear me. Can you hear me?
You're not gonna wait for the handle?
Okay. All right. Can you hear me talking?
Yeah.
You can hear me? Yes or no?
That's yes.
Okay,
But
good.
It's gonna go out of my head.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, well, they did some repairs, the engineer on Steve's system. We'll find out if it works live on the air. Sounds okay so far. Oh boy. Less than an hour to go. That last guy cut me. He may be on hold. He may have called back.
Hi, this is Gabriel with Florida Cash Home Buyers, and we pay cash for houses. If you want to sell your home fast and easy without a realtor, call me at 561-570-7070. You can sell us your home in as little as 3 days or on your time.
Whoa. If you're on hold, hang in there. Yeah, we're back after this. It's the last commercial.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with
All right, callers on hold, stand by. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Steve joining us. I think we got everything working today. Hey, Steve.
I think we have everything.
Oh, my goodness. You sound so good, I barely recognize your voice because you haven't sounded like this for a while. I'm doing great. Lots of big news. I want to announce, President Trump posted his mugshot to Twitter at the end of last week. So far, and this number is growing, but right now as I speak, this is just President Trump's mugshot on his own Twitter. This doesn't include everybody else that's shown it. But just on President Trump's Twitter, 253,800,000 have viewed his mugshot. 1.7 million have liked it. So, yeah, the most famous photograph ever.
I'll tell you what I picked up from my perceptions, and last night I spent all of my time on my new channel that you got me into.
Newsmax?
Newsmax.
Newsmax is very good.
It is a very interesting channel, there's no question of that, but what I picked up from Newsmax was not very much, other than the fact that they've given him an impossible schedule. There is no way he can, it's almost like the schedule they released for him in trial dates is almost like a fantasy. He doesn't have time to go to the bathroom, basically.
That's right.
And there's one thing that occurred that jumped out at me. I don't know if it's going to jump out at everybody in our audience as being as significant as it struck me. But they had two remote segments on with Alan Dershowitz. Did you happen to see that, Ben?
I did not see those, no.
Okay. Well, both segments were they were about an hour apart, and they were almost identical in what they said. And Mr. Dershowitz was very measured in his response, like this wasn't something off the top of his head. He said if he was the attorney in this case, he would get up and he would say to the judge, "Your Honor, I'm afraid I cannot continue with this trial because it is my job to interview my client, to represent my client, and given the time for preparation they've given me, it is impossible for me to do a competent job, and therefore I am going to sit this trial out. In fact, this is exact words from Dershowitz. You've got your job, he said, speaking to an imaginary judge. You've got your job, I've got my job, and I can't do my job under the circumstances.
Yeah.
And basically what he did is, in short, what he did was say that it's an untenable thing they've set up for him.
Yeah.
Take the case, and he denounced this thing in his opening remarks.
Well, and then the judge would say, "This is Fulton County. We don't care. Get another lawyer." But I'll tell you, the first, yeah.
Because he didn't say that much, but what he said were pearls of wisdom. He said, basically what he said is, my client can't get proper representation in the trial you've set up for him, and it would be against my judicial ethics to continue under these circumstances.
Yeah.
And then throw the ball back to the judge.
Who would say? Remember the judge denied Harrison Ford an attorney the other day. They wouldn't care. They wouldn't care. They would say, "Well, I'm sure that Mr. Trump can find an attorney that can prepare in time. Get out of here, Dershowitz. I didn't want your showboating here anyway." But Steve, we're going to get the first courtroom appearance of President Trump. President Trump's arraignment is September 6th, which is right around the corner. September 6th is his arraignment in Fulton County. He'll either be there in person or on Zoom, and this is going to be the beginning of the end for Fani Willis, because after seeing them in action with Harrison Floyd last week and their arrogance and disrespect of our Constitution and defendants, when they see this disrespect towards President Trump, things are going to turn quick on them.
How will it proceed?
I don't know how it's going to play out by the numbers. I don't know. But I know that based on what we've seen out of Fulton County's courtroom so far, we're going to see a level of disrespect of people's rights and of President Trump like we've never seen before when the arraignments start next week. And it's not just Trump's arraignment. All these arraignments are going to happen. These arraignments, what happened last week were not arraignments. The arraignments in the courtroom will start happening on the 6th. And there's going to be, we've already had one, I think, Harrison Floyd was a bail hearing. I don't know if that's an arraignment, but we're going to have at least 18 arraignments, including President Trump's. And when people see the mistreatment and the abuse that President Trump and the Trump 18 receive, it's going to turn public opinion even more against them in Atlanta. Let me give out the number. Our number is toll-free 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631. I did do something that you asked me to do yesterday. I watched Mark Levin. I'll tell you about it after the break, if you don't mind. Okay, but I'd like to take a call or two. Some of these people have been holding on for a while. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Held on so long he fell asleep. Hey, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm Dean again. I'm really...
Yes, that's okay. I figured it was you. You're the guy who had the dump. You used the S word. That's okay.
I didn't mean to disrespect your show or your audience. I'm really sorry for that. I just get worked out when I mention that guy. So again, I think Vivek think he's smart enough to play us. I've read sections of his...
Well, if people that are just tuning in, there's another major update on Ramaswamy. Of course, we know about the Soros money paying for his college. It's being reported this morning that close personal friends of Jeffrey Epstein have donated over $100,000 to his campaign. So we got Epstein money, we've got Soros money. What else do you need to say that this guy's bad news?
He is bad news. I really don't think we should trust him. I think what he's trying to do is he looked at the country and he can tell easily, like anyone else, that if you want to win this Republican nomination or even come close to it, you have to beat President Trump. So he's trying to kind of mirror what he does,
what Trump's doing. Well, I do like. Well, we're not talking about the hearing. We're talking about Ramaswamy right now. But the hearings on this thing. We don't, after the break, I'll get into, I just want to finish with this thing with Ramaswamy since the guy called. But the only thing I like about Ramaswamy is that he's using Nikki Haley's Indian name and it freaks her out. Like he's calling her by, I don't even know what the name is. And Nikki Haley believes she's the only Indian that should be running for president. That's like her whole thing. A lot of women are like this that are in prominent positions. They get this little thing. And that's their whole identity, and she's upset that there's another Indian American running, which is absurd. There's plenty. Indians are very nice people. I've known many Indians, and they're some of the nicest, kindest people I've ever known. Nikki Haley is not one of those Indians, and when he calls her by her Indian name, it triggers her. And she made the mistake of letting him know this. So, and I'm really looking forward, believe it or not, to the next Trumpless debate because I want to see her reaction to him calling her by her Indian name.
One last thing.
Real quick, we're up against a break.
I don't think this guy is running to become president. I think this guy's plan from the very beginning is to become President Trump's running mate.
He's running. I'll tell you what he's running for: to be George Soros' spy into the Trump regime. That's what he's running for. Okay. Hey, take care. Thanks so much. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Oh, that was my cue. That was my cue. I missed the cue. It's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel. Sorry, Barry, I missed my cue. On the line, we're going to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Barry Siegel, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Brian?
Not too good because I missed the cue to go to you, but that's okay. It happens. You know, hey, things happen. That's what you're all about. The unexpected can happen, and be prepared, right?
Yeah, that's right. So, if I asked if anybody would want to save $873,600, I would think most people would say yes. But the thing is, people don't know that they can do that. And so what I'm talking about is we have a person who called this past week that we're now helping. His mother is currently receiving care in a facility that's costing north of $13,000 a month.
Wow.
And they've been spending this money for a long time, not knowing that there were alternatives to help offset those costs. So when they consulted with us and they realized that we were going to be able to get most of that covered by government benefits, Medicaid, and now all of a sudden, because this lady has about a little over about a 5.5-year life expectancy based on the life expectancy tables, based on her age and gender, we're going to be able to protect that amount of money, over $873,000 if she lives to that age. And that is significant money. Now, she didn't have that much to protect at this point, but her 3 kids were paying for the cost. They were splitting the cost of the adult children's pockets, and so it was creating a burden for them and their families and their finances. So now they finally have relief, and it's because they went to find out about the possibilities of qualifying the person who needed care for government benefits.
Well, that's interesting, Barry, because this is, obviously it's better to set this up pre-need before you need it, but this is a family who's going broke. And even though they were in the middle of it, you're able to step in and save them.
Or they find out, later than never. So we're going to be able to protect whatever they're going to spend going forward. And by the way, her cost of care will either stay the same and go up. It's not going to go down.
Yeah.
I mean, the number that I gave is conservative. I mean, obviously we don't know how long anyone's going to live, but she could live longer than the life expectancy amount or shorter. But the point is, it's still significant assets that they're protecting.
That's amazing. And, the Siegel Law Group, Attorney Barry Siegel has an entire team at the Siegel Law Group that specialize in just this, okay? So you're dealing with experienced professionals when you call the Siegel Law Group, and it's always a no-charge consultation with the Siegel Law Group when you mention you heard Attorney Barry Siegel on the radio. You can find them online at SiegelLawGroup.com, SiegelLawGroup.com, or call toll-free 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk later in the week.
All right, thank you, Brian.
All right, back after this.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, hear us in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at...
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here and back, and Don, our crack engineer here at True Oldies got you all set up, Steve. I told you, we've got the best engineer in the business with the best radio voice in the business, even though he's not on the air. He's very, very good. Very, very good. To answer your question, everything in Fulton County will be televised. Everything. Everything, including the arraignments on September 6th with President Trump. All this will be televised. And that's, yeah.
Them doing last night as they discussed just the first phase of the actual hearing, it's an impossible task. I mean, they've got him spread too thin. There's no way he can be in all the places he's scheduled to be in. And
well, that's their plan, Steve. That's their plan. Now, but of course, while America is being invaded from our southern border with the modern-day Democrats slave trade going on, they got labor slaves and sex slaves coming through the southern border every second of every day. That's not the biggest threat to this country. It's not Putin. It's not Ukraine. It's not ISIS XYZ or ISIS K. It's none of that stuff. It's this. This is Joe Biden yesterday talking about what America's greatest threat is. Listen.
To the point where the intelligence community is determined, the U.S. intelligence community is determined that domestic terrorism rooted in white supremacy is the greatest terrorist threat we face in the homeland.
Okay, white supremacy. That means white people. White people, white supremacy is the greatest threat. Now, I'm here to tell you this. Now, this is just, first off, this is Biden without cocaine. If you've noticed, since they found the cocaine in the White House, he's a lot lower energy, Steve, isn't he? Because they can't smuggle in the coke, I guess, anymore. He can't do a bump before a press conference anymore. And he's sounded a lot more asleep in all of these recent talks since then. But the biggest threat are white people, he's telling us. White supremacy. And Homeland Security has identified this. You know, this is a scary, scary thing. You know, there was another mass shooting yesterday. The shooter was Asian. Okay, and did the one at the school shoot himself yesterday? I'm not sure. The one in Jacksonville did. The one in Jacksonville was white. The college yesterday was an Asian guy. You know, these are just lunatics that do these things. But when he says white supremacy, he means MAGA. And this is the deal with white supremacists. There are some out there, but not many. And I'll give you a couple of examples as to why I know their numbers are few. First off, we didn't hear about white supremacists or the Klan when Obama was president, and nothing ticks off white supremacists more than having a black president. And for 8 years, we didn't hear anything because they really don't exist. Right now, the Vice President of the United States, Willie Brown's girlfriend, Kamala Harris, she's not white either. She's biracial. She's black and Indian. And let me tell you, white supremacists, they don't like black Indian vice presidents. And if the white supremacist were a threat and in numbers, like Biden is suggesting, they would be everywhere Kamala Harris was, because that would be something that they just wouldn't be able to look at without getting sick. White supremacists don't like having black, Indian, biracial vice presidents. And I haven't seen one white supremacist show up and demonstrate anywhere Willie Brown's girlfriend has been. That is evidence right there that they're very small in numbers. This is a lie. And the greatest threat this country is facing is at the southern border. And you guys certainly know that. All right, our number is 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Before we go to the calls, I want to say this. Everything in the Atlanta case is going to be televised. Everything. And the hearing with Harrison Floyd last week, where he was denied bail and denied a lawyer, a public defender, the mainstream media didn't carry that on television. Okay? They didn't carry that on television. And it's disgusting that they didn't. But the disrespect and arrogance of these liberal jerks in Fulton County was on full display. When we get the rest of the Trump 19, including Trump, it's 19, so I'm calling them the Trump 19. You know, I know that seems kind of like a liberal thing to say. But when we get the arraignment starting on September 6th with the president, that's all going to be televised. And everything moving forward will be televised. Okay? And the people in Fulton County in the legal system there, Fannie Willis's office and the judges are suffering from Trump derangement syndrome worse than you've ever seen before. And they will not be able to control themselves. In their world, everyone hates Trump and thinks all these people are domestic terrorists and they should be treated as such. So they're going to come into the courtroom with a level of disrespect for President Trump and America's mayor, hero of 9/11, the first hero in the war on terror, Mayor Giuliani. The level of disrespect they show President Trump and America's mayor, Mayor Giuliani, is going to turn even more people against them than already have woken up, okay? It's going to really flip people out when they see this. So thank the Lord above that everything in Fulton County will be televised. All these things that federal courts aren't televised, so it doesn't have the same impact, if as it being on television. Steve, this is going to be like OJ, and it's going to be exciting stuff. All right, let's see here. Yeah. September 6th. September 6th is a week from, I look at the date, but it's a couple weeks away because we're still in August. It's September 6th. September 6th. September 6th. We're up against the break, so I don't have time to take any of these calls before the break. So if you're on hold, stand by. We'll go back to our very busy phones after the bottom of the hour break. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. My name is Brian Craig. Steve Kane is here. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour and be right back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s.
That's okay. I don't care. It's fine. It happens. It happens. It's a week from tomorrow. Yeah, I haven't heard any updates on Harrison Floyd. I don't think there have been any.
If you're a homeowner, business owner, or with a homeowners association and your roof is old or compromised, you need to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting. Tom Laporta will give you a free evaluation. Laporta Contracting was voted one of the best general contractor and best roofers in South Florida. He's honest, knowledgeable, and reliable, and will never sell you a roof you don't need. If you have an insurance claim, call your insurance company immediately. Then call Tom Laporta. New laws are in effect that allow Tom to negotiate directly with your insurance company on the cost of all repairs, so you don't necessarily need to employ a public adjuster or a lawyer. Tom can handle any type of roofing job too. Residential roofing and repair, commercial roofs, schools, municipal buildings, office buildings, emergency repairs. If it's roofing, Tom Laporta can do it. Call Tom Laporta right now, and online, laportacontracting.com.
If you're suffering from burning, tingling, or numb feet, you need to pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Darren Listovsky, DC, owner of Pivotal Health and Wellness. Dr. Listovsky, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is actually nerve damage to the legs and feet.
And what are the symptoms?
The major symptoms are numbness, tingling, burning, muscle cramps, coldness in hands or feet, and problems with balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It is treatable, and we have seen great results.
Call 561-287-3255 today. The first 25 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Space is limited. Call 561-287-3255. 561-287-3255.
Mm-hmm.
The free screening is a $145 value. Any other person responsible for payment has the right to refuse to pay, cancel payment for any other service, examination, or treatment that is performed as a result of and within 72 hours of responding to the advertisement for the free, discounted fee, or reduced fee service, examination, or treatment.
Hello, this is Mike from Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-445. Over the phone. Used tires. My number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
Middleman Eye, your trusted eye practice for cataract surgery. Listen to this rule.
I just had my cataract surgery, and Dr. Middleman did an outstanding job. I was extremely nearsighted my entire life, but the new trifocal panoptic lenses he inserted allow me to see more clearly than ever, and no more glasses or contacts.
Middleman Eye, 2 locations in Jupiter Gardens and West Palm Beach. Call 561-500-EYES. Online at middlemaneye.com. Call or text the Middleman Eye Center today at 561-500-2020 to make an appointment in West Palm Beach or Jupiter.
This is Steve Can. I want to tell you about my favorite restaurant in all of South Florida, Wings Plus in Coral Springs. Wings just the way you like them. Plump, tender, and delicious, crispy on the outside, succulent on the inside. Everything homemade, nothing comes out of a can. Dozens of specialty sauces that will make your mouth water. Wings Plus, located in Coral Springs, a mile west of University on the south side of Sample Road.
All right, here we go.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 46 years on.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian Stevens here. Before we get back to everything, I want to mention that I heard during the break the recorded commercial for Friendly Tire in Margate, and I wanted to share with you all this. I was over at Friendly Tire in Margate the other day, and I was talking to Friendly Mike, and I was asking about tire prices because I was talking about how much gas cost, and about how oil prices is affecting tire prices. And Steve, not only are his prices low, they're just as low as ever. You know, you can get new tires. This is new tires, common sizes for some of the most popular vehicles. Now, you call him, he'll go through them because I don't want to start listing vehicles. But now, remember, Friendly Tire's prices are out the door and on the road. He doesn't charge you to balance the tire, mount the tires, or dispose of your old tires. New tires, out the door and on the road, common sizes for some of the most common vehicles, $70 a tire, brand new, out the door and on the road. $70 a tire. Isn't that crazy? That's how, So don't drive around, especially on these wet Florida roads, on bald tires. All right, so President Trump's arraignment in Fulton County is a week from tomorrow, and it'll be on TV. Now, we don't know if he'll be there in person or on Zoom, but his arraignment is a week from tomorrow. I hope he'll be there in person and face down the judge and these prosecutors face to face. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's IB. Took you off the speaker. Good morning, Uncle Steve. IB and Brower here. Hey there, buddy. It's the Tucker thing. What I'm curious about, I've always had in the back.
Well, slow down. Let me update people that we're missing what we're talking. Earlier in the show, I was talking about this. It was announced yesterday that Tucker Carlson who's in Hungary right now, is angling to get a one-on-one interview with Putin, and the head of Russian state television confirmed it. So it looks like we're going to get a Tucker interview with Vladimir Putin soon. All right.
Going back to the China Olympics, I've always been curious as to what Vladimir and what Xi Jinping were discussing. Not too long after that, Russia started mounting their troops along the Ukraine border.
Mm-hmm.
Not too long after that, Joe Biden said, "Oh, you could just stick your toe in Ukraine, but if you put your whole leg in, then we have an issue." He gave him the invitation.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know if they're all in cahoots together, or is China China playing both sides while everyone, communists and fascists, are getting their way in the world. So everybody in the world.
Well, the Chinese Navy was doing maneuvers with the Russian Navy off the Aleutian Islands in Alaska, so they're working together.
I've always been curious about the talks they had in the Winter Olympics.
Okay.
Tucker, even if Tucker becomes a Julian Assange, he not only has the money to fight back, but they're going to have to really come up with some good play on words as to what they will be charging with. He is a journalist. He has credentials. He's been on both sides, being in CNN, the Democrat.
Well, do you know there's a big secret here that a secret, the elephant in the room. He still is employed by Fox News, and I think they're still paying him. They just don't have him on the air. So yeah.
Become a martyr. He'll become a martyr like Julian Assange, but they're not going to be holding him in some kind of a captivity. The public opinion will turn even more so if
they've arrested a president of the. They've arrested. How can you hear me when you won't stop talking? They have arrested a president of the United States. So if they arrest a president of the United States and America's mayor, the hero of 9/11. Mayor Giuliani, what makes you think they wouldn't pick up Tucker for violation of the Logan Act?
Of course they would, but what I'm saying is that Tucker ace card is that he's an international journalist, and even if they do so,
that'll do it. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe President Trump should start doing a show on Newsmax, and then they'll just drop everything because they don't want to interfere with journalists. Are you out of your mind?
No, either way they.
Listen, 2 of the charges against President Trump are that he told people to watch Newsmax, One American News, and Right Side Broadcasting. Those are 2 of the charges.
Increase the monetary value of their hostage.
Yeah. Hey, listen, take care. Thanks for the call. I appreciate the call. This Tucker interview with Putin, Steve, I'm excited for it. I hope it happens. I think it'll be I want to hear Putin announce that he is calling for an immediate ceasefire for peace talks and peace negotiations between Zelensky and Biden and him. Throw who in jail? Tucker?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, but I don't. Well, he's not going to take Tucker as a hostage. Tucker's a friend of Putin. I'm talking about Biden arresting Tucker when he comes home for meddling in foreign policy. I'm not talking about Putin. I don't think Putin's going to arrest Tucker. Tucker is complimentary of Putin in Russia. So no, he's not going to arrest him. I think Biden might arrest Tucker when he comes home. That's what I think, for interviewing Putin. Yeah, because Biden said that he will not talk to Putin. They will not have peace talks. What would it take for you to end this war? That'd be one question. Next question is, would you, if Joe Biden agreed to it, would you call for an immediate ceasefire and for an emergency summit meeting with you, Zelensky, and Joe Biden? Those are the first 2 questions I'd ask him. Those are the big ones, and then we just have to go from there. But those are 2 big ones, and I think Putin would agree to that. I think Putin would agree to a ceasefire and summit meeting and peace talks. I think so in a heartbeat. He's a master manipulator. He's KGB. And what better way to manipulate things over here? And the media in this country, Steve, would have meltdowns like they've never had before if Tucker interviewed Putin. I don't think anybody would carry it in this country. Fox News probably wouldn't even acknowledge it because they'd be embarrassed.
You know that.
Exactly. All right, listen, our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Now, you had asked me to watch Mark Levin from Sunday night, and I did watch it, and it just made me more suspicious of Mark Levin and which side he's on, okay? And I know you're going to think I'm nuts, and you're not going to agree with me. You know, he said one thing that I agree with, and I'll tell you about the rest. He said one thing that I agree with that we've talked about on this program, that the southern border being open, it has a lot of reasons why it's open. But the main reason is to turn Texas blue. The Democrats have been trying to turn Texas blue for a long time. They've not had success. They turned California blue. Remember, California was a secure Republican state. Ronald Reagan and President Nixon were from California, and they both won it. I agree that the southern border being open is to turn Texas blue, and if Texas goes blue, this country's done, and that's what they're doing there. But the rest of what I heard Mark Levin talk about made me question his loyalty as to is he with Trump or is he with the Republican establishment. Basically, he laid out this case that the country's lost, it's hopeless, and these evildoers control everything, and we're lost, and we can't be saved. He gave no solution to save our country.
He did. Let me, in all due respect, what he said is something that I believe, and that I think we believe, because I've heard you say it on the air too, that unless we can turn things drastically around in the upcoming election, and you believe that because I've heard you.
That's true. Yeah, but I also will. Yeah.
Fine-tuned it a little bit.
No, he didn't give people much hope. He laid out that the country is lost, that these evil people control everything, and it's hopeless. Yeah, yeah. So what that does is what he's doing is discouraging our voter turnout. I don't think Mark Levin in his heart wants Trump to win. I think his money, his fame, his fortunes, everything come from the Republican establishment, and I don't really think he's. He would deny this, but I don't think he's full-blown MAGA. I don't trust him. Yeah, I think he's an agent, a spy into the MAGA movement. I don't trust Mark Levin. No, I don't. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Never trust a never Trumper. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm Diane, and I'm from Deerfield Beach, Florida. I just want to thank you for Friendly Mike. And I was in there a couple of weeks ago, and he did my tires. Best guy ever. And
that's awesome. Did you buy new or used tires?
4 new tires.
That's great. And he took good care of you. Friendly Tire in Margate. Well, thanks so much.
Yes, no, thank you.
All right, take care. Yeah, I know. It's unbelievable, the low prices over there. All right, listen, we're coming up on our last break of the day. When we get back, there's a few more things we haven't touched on yet. We'll also take some calls. Our number, 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio this year, the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on the Steve.
All right, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking?
Metals looking a little lower this morning, trading in a range still over 1,900 though. Gold we saw yesterday gained $4.80, which is giving back this morning right now. But yesterday we saw gold close at $1,919.60. Silver was down a penny yesterday at $24.20, while platinum gained $22 yesterday at $9.68, and palladium was gaining $25, closing out the day at $1,222. As I said, gold losing that gain from yesterday at $1,915 right now. Overnight, we traded in a range of $1,914 all the way up to $1,927. Silver right now at 5 cents at $24.25 the ounce. Platinum gaining $7 at $9.75, and palladium down $28 at $1,194. That's pretty much where we are.
All right, and of course, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. You can do business over the phone if you can't make it in, no matter where you're located. Not just wherever you're located in South Florida, or America, but anywhere in the world. You can buy and sell with William Youngerman over the phone. His number, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. Online, williamyoungerman.com, or stop in. His address, 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, back after this.
Warriors for breakfast. Now the Steve Kane Show is up.
All right, we are back. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. Steve is here. You know, the shooter yesterday, the Asian shooter, is from Wuhan, at the University of North Carolina. The Asian guy, he's from Wuhan, of all places, the birthplace of COVID. I don't know. I guess their white supremacy argument is. I don't know what the latest is on that North Carolina shooting. I really don't know. If anybody does, you're welcome to call in. Biden, that clip I played earlier about the biggest threat is white supremacy, that was in response to the Jacksonville shooting. But of course, he doesn't, that was an ill-timed statement because of an Asian Chinese man doing the one at the university yesterday, and I guess they couldn't update his talking point fast enough, I guess. I don't know. All right, our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. I want to play a piece of audio. This is amazing, and I mean, we could do this all day. You know, the numbers are between 20 and 30%. It's being estimated that the Democrats have lost 20 to 30% of the black vote. And that's for a bunch of reasons. The main reason they've lost so much of the black vote is because we have a huge black middle class and upper class in this country, right? I mean, that's just the way it is. And when people start making money, they don't like paying taxes for a bunch of freeloaders like Liberal Al, right? Liberal Al, he called in today. He was ready to have surgery. He's getting back surgery, right? About half the time that Al calls, he's either waiting for surgery or waiting for a doctor. The guy hasn't had a job since I've been of working age. And he's a bum. So he's got, I don't know, he's old now, so he probably has Medicare, but he's had Medicaid and Medicare his whole life. He's got nothing to do, no responsibilities. So what he does is he goes around and just goes to doctors all day because he's got nothing else to do. Here I am, I don't have health insurance, right? But Liberal Al, his leisure is going to doctors. Luckily we have great sponsors that take good care of me for my lab testing. We got Dr. Appleton and everybody else, Dr. Matez. But, it's going to the doctor is a leisure activity for this guy. It costs, and we're, of course, all paying for it. People in the black community, since they are there's financial equality in this country, are tired of paying for freeloaders like Al, Al's been retired his whole adult life, right? And what's happening lately with Trump is they're making them come out of the closet. So I want to play this audio. This is a black woman who was interviewed on the street about President Trump. Okay, listen to this.
A quick question. So you are obviously a person of color like we are.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to not be Trump supporters. So what is it about Trump
You know what? I'm going to tell you something right now. I was talking to my husband about it earlier. And when I really started educating myself and informing myself on Donald Trump, one thing that I'm passionate about is human trafficking, that especially of children. And when I really started digging into it, I saw that Trump also is a huge supporter. He donated recently $35 million to support human trafficked survivors. Yep. That really struck a chord with my heart. And so when I started really looking into him, I'm about action, I'm not about words. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I like the fact that he says what's on his mind. I like the fact that he doesn't say what he thinks people want to hear from him. And to me, I know everything that he's done for the black communities, and I stand behind him.
Beautiful.
100%. I'm not only a Trump supporter, I am a Trump lover, and for the longest time, I've been afraid to come out and say that.
Well, here we go.
Because I didn't want to lose my blackness or my black friends or whatever.
Remember what Joe Biden said, if you vote for Trump, you ain't black.
So, and if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
What an idiot.
Okay, yeah, what an idiot, she said. Okay, you know, and this is what's going on. And, you know, this woman here, she's interesting. She's been a Trump supporter for a long time, but things have gotten so bad and out of control, and Trump is becoming so popular in the black community, she's come out of the closet. She says, I'm not just a Trump supporter, I love Trump, but I kept it a secret because I was afraid that I would lose my black friends and my blackness. So she's come out of the closet. And I think that's what's going on, Steve. I think we've got millions of black people that aren't just all of a sudden deciding they're on the Trump train, like the gays before AIDS, okay? You know, because after AIDS, you know, gays started coming out of the closet after AIDS, because what AIDS did is turn gays from a perversion into a victim group, and then everybody started coming out of the closet, right? And that's what's going on with Black MAGA. Millions of black people, like this girl here, she's an adult woman, she's a wife, she's married. She said she's kept it a secret. She's been in hiding. She's lived in a closet. She's denied her true self, and now she's out of the closet. She's Black MAGA. And that's what's going on. And these numbers that are 20 to 30% of the black vote has been lost to Trump, it's not overnight because of these arrests, okay? The arrests have brought them out of the closet, is what I'm telling you. Okay, in particular in Fulton County, because it just the mugshot was just out of control because, you know, it was. So the Democrats are in for a rude awakening. This doesn't have an impact just on the presidential race. On congressional races, this will have a major impact, because this is a group of people that they think they've got locked up that they don't.
Be true from your lips.
Oh, Steve, this is amazing. I mean, what's going on? You know, Biden is like the best recruiter for MAGA we've had, next to Trump, of course. I mean, this is.
Excellent.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know what's happening with him. You know, the black community that's liberal, the liberal black community, take huge offense at the weaponization of government, of law enforcement in particular. And they see what's going on here. They see the mistreatment of Trump and his attorneys, and they've seen them, and they relate to it because they've seen the mistreatment of government and the legal system to the black community, because the Democrats have been preaching this to them for decades, and now they see this happening, and boom. Now they're in trouble on the left, and that's good for us. And when this arraignment happens next week for President Trump, I hope he's going to be there in person. And I suspect he is, because Right Side Broadcasting has announced they're going to be there at the courthouse. And the lead anchor on Right Side Broadcasting is Brian Glenn. He's Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend. Okay, everybody knows this. This is not a secret. He's Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, and they both left their spouses for each other. So he's got an inside track at Right Side Broadcasting on Trump. So if Right Side Broadcasting is going to be at the courthouse in Fulton County for the arraignment, my guess is they've been told that President Trump is going to appear. Okay, now that obviously could change, but I think he should appear. You know, and I think people need to see a president of the United States mistreated by these local Democrats in Fulton County. And I think I would hope that President Trump would be aware of this. Now, maybe they'll tell him there's too much of a security risk. I don't know. They took him to the middle of New York City.
Hoping for, what we're praying for, is that our visions of the mistreatment Trump will receive is going to win him the...
Exactly. Now, I want to say, Liberal Al called this morning, Steve. Did you miss that call?
He was...
Back surgery. No, that's hopeless. The doctors have given up on the brain of him. But He was having back surgery. He's probably already had the surgery or he's in surgery, because when he called, he was 20 minutes away from the surgery. So this is what I want to say to you. If you've been told that you need to have surgery for back pain, knee pain, or any of these things, go see Dr. Appleton first, okay? Try his laser away pain treatment. It worked on me 5 times. He's rid me of pain from injuries, from just arthritis, from skateboard injuries, knee injuries, shoulder injuries, some pretty bad ones, okay? And the last time I went to him, I was almost in tears. I was in so much pain with, after my last skateboard accident on my shoulder, Steve. I mean, it was brutal. Yeah, I guess. I thought I had a rotary tear, okay? And I thought, there I go. I'm going to have to go to the orthopedic. I'm going to have to get surgery. And, you know, I had that first treatment. And when the treatment was done, before I left the office, I started to feel better already. And I told Dr. Appleton, I said, you know, I said, if I'd have gone to the orthopedic doctor, they'd have had me scheduled for surgery already. He says, absolutely. So before you have surgery for any of these things, back, knee, whatever, go see Dr. Appleton first, okay? And I think you'll find your experience like mine. It works on so many different kinds of pain. His number is 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. You see, these surgeons, all they know is how to cut you open. They don't know about these other things, right? They just don't know. You can also find Dr. Appleton online at AppletonChiro.com. And Liberal Al the John should have done that. But I guess, you know, with the surgery, Steve, he gets room and board included. So, you know, and the $3 a day. So it's, you know, it's better to get the $3 a day at the hospital and the room and board than it is at the shelter, you know, on Broward Boulevard next to the bus station, I guess. So, you know, that's Al. But I would go see Dr. Appleton first. All right. So anyway, so that, to me, Right Side Broadcasting being there is an indication that Trump is going to be there, if not in person, on Zoom. And so whatever your plans are for next Wednesday, plan on being somewhere where you can see the live arraignment of President Trump, because that's when things are going to really hardcore turn. See, what happens in these federal courts, since there are not cameras in the federal courtrooms, it's like it didn't happen. You know, 2 of President Trump's campaign managers have been in federal court, right? Bannon and I just forgot his name, Steve. The guy with the ascot, the broker convention guy, I forgot his name. But 2 of Trump's campaign managers have been in court, been in jail, everything else. Manafort, right? Paul Manafort's the other one, okay? Roger Stone, all these people around Trump, General Flynn. But it's been done in the federal courts. And when it's not on television, it's like it didn't happen. Seeing the reason that the O.J. Simpson trial was such a big thing is because every second of it was on television, and it was a celebrity, and and for O.J. there was an arraignment and pretrial hearing that were also on television, and that's when it began. And the trial didn't start for some time later, if you guys remember. And that trial, if it wasn't televised, the news would have still covered it because O.J. Simpson was a famous man. But if it wasn't televised, he probably would have been convicted, and it wouldn't have had the same impact. President Trump, President Trump, and it's not going to be just Trump. It's the Trump 19. There's 19 of them with the president that were indicted, including Mayor Giuliani and Jenna Ellis and others. When we have 19 arraignments for a president of the United States and his attorneys with these nasty Democrats and nasty prosecutors that are also Democrats and the nasty judges in Fulton County, Georgia, that think all white people should be in prison just for being white and hate Republicans like the plague, and this is going to change public perception of even liberals as to the mistreatment and disrespect of our entire system and to our president, okay? Well, listen, we're all out of time for today, but we'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane is here. This is The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 46 years on the radio, The Steve Kane Show this year. Pretty amazing feat. And remember, if you ever miss a portion of a show, or maybe you called in and you want to get your call, save your call, hear your call, go to our radio station website, TrueOldiesFLA.com. At TrueOldiesFLA.com. Every day our show is uploaded as a podcast and archived there forever. All right, God bless America, and God bless Donald Trump.
WWNN Pompano Beach, WIRK.
All right, guys, I got to run. I'll see you.